Why?
Let's go!
This show fucking stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it. AJ, you never cease to amaze me with your toxicity, pal.
You got a couple of these?
God damn it! What the fuck are you doing?
Fuck Boston.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this White Wednesday, March 29th, 2023. This program starts now. Oh, we don't have much mana. We have wide for this particular Wednesday. It's already March 29th. The time is flying. The storylines are building, and there's a lot that there should be talked about today on this particular show. I will say this show has a cast of characters every single day. The Toxic Table is here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys Tone Diggs is here, and we've been incredibly honored and privileged to play host to this man for the last month or so in the middle of the week. 14-year NFL corner, Adam Pac-Man Jones is here. AJ Hawk, sweet, you look so cool.
Yeah, what a fit.
I always have that pumpkin with you.
That pumpkin saves my feet.
Oh, so that's that thing.
Yeah,
we can get you one of those things if you need. We didn't know it was needed over there. That's on us. Obviously, the way this thing was built had a couple flaws. Now, I will say, the Colt hoodie here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet. You like that?
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Colt's a cool word. I mean, it's a cool word.
Yeah.
A lot of crazy outcomes.
Yeah,
when
not a cool thing.
Yeah,
What are the children here,
you know,
man?
David Koresh just watched was that on Netflix?
Yep.
Yeah.
Waco.
Yeah, Waco Apocalypse.
Hey, that's
American
a real deal,
Apocalypse.
bro. That's a real deal.
Oh, yeah.
They were at war
Big time.
with the ATF. The Davidians got into a war with ATF for like, what did they say, 2.5 hours straight gunfire?
Oh, yeah.
2.5 hours straight up. With the world that we have in, that happened for 2.5 hours straight
Nuts.
in Texas. I didn't know that, like, the details of it because I wasn't around for it or whatever. What a wild scene. That's a cult. That is not what that is.
That's not
that,
this.
that is not David Koresh's
No.
hoodie or anything.
No, this is a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Who's that?
Yeah, a little bit more flavor.
And that's shoes.
Yeah, I ain't dressed like
So
that.
if it's not that type of color, is that college football?
Cult, because those are real deal.
No, this is not a college football shirt.
Okay.
What is it? That's just the.
It's the brand, you know? That's
It's
the brand.
super cool. I mean, it's so
Yeah.
nice.
Bottega's on the feet, you know?
Oh, Bottega!
Smell me!
Of course.
You look awesome. Obviously, the more information we are learning out of the city of Nashville, it is both heartbreaking but also inspiring. Hearing the stories of the officers that went in there and acted immediately 15 minutes from the call to whenever it was all over, and we all saw it on the body cam footage. Engelbart, I believe, was the man who had the rifle where you see him, and I had to get learned up here a little bit this morning. He kind of turns his gun. I guess there's like a red dot type scope there as he turns the corner, sprinting towards gunfire in the middle of this Christian school in which some absolutely despicable human being killed three kids and 3 adults, I do believe. Yep. And it's incredibly sad and terrible, and everything is bad. But a little silver lining that we can find is that there were some motherfuckers in uniform that sprinted directly towards actual gunfire. So Mr. Engelbart and Collazo, we would like to say thank you to you and to all of the others that serve, obviously, for the Metro Police down there in Nashville, and all people that in a moment of chaos have the courage and the honor to run towards danger. You're dogs, dude, and we really much appreciate seeing that in the world that we're in currently, because I think there's a lot of question marks about humans and how good of people are we, and what is happening around everywhere, in every single aspect of everything. There's something terrible seemingly happening, and then you see shit like that, you're like, all right, we still got some greats out there. We still got some legends out there. He was a 4-year police officer vet out of Chicago. I believe he went to Catholic school growing up. This happening in a Christian school, fascinating. His fiance also teaches at a Catholic school down there in Nashville. I mean, just a badass of a dude that we got to watch happen. Because normally when you see that body cam, it's the complete opposite.
That's true.
And it makes you be like, come on, man, these are supposed to be our best humans out there. And then you see some body cam, you're like, man, that ain't what we're fucking about. There's no way that is this one. It's like towards gunfire, what they trained for. Who knows if you're going to be able to do it in a real moment. Executed. I mean, just fucking awesome to watch that with how terrible everything else is around it, obviously. Ty, you got to learn about Marine, right? I believe. Michael Collazo.
Collazo's a Marine. I think he's 9-year veteran. But, yeah, same deal. He fired the 4 shots after Engelbert fired the first 4. But that's what they were saying, is like the quick response time, like, absolutely saved several more lives. Like, who knows how much more out of hand it could have gotten if they wouldn't have acted quickly. And like you said, I mean, you really can't think in a situation like that. You kind of just got to hope that you're trained to do and do the right thing, and they did. It's amazing.
You can be trained to do the right thing, and then when the lights come on, not be able to do it. We see it with football a lot. And we're just football idiots, so we're trying to relate it to it. So you have no idea how people are going to react in those moments. Obviously, you can have practice, and you can have what you think it would be. To see in that moment with everything going on, them do what hell yeah, dude. You know what I mean?
It's different when it's live bullets,
Real.
Prayers go out to the families. Sad.
Yes, absolutely. Nothing but it out there.
Yeah.
Now, let's get to some football talk and some sports talk. We would like to say thank you to those officers, their families, and sorry to everybody else. That is, obviously, there's some sort of change that's going to take place, so this doesn't have to be something we have to worry about all the time like it seems like it is. So damn devastating. And, all right, let's get to some sports to distract, hopefully, from a negative situation that we found a little silver lining in those 2 officers. Sports are interesting right now.
Very.
Sports are interesting right now. Right? There's, a show that we reference a lot on this particular program called The Insiders, Pac-Man. Do you know what The Insiders is? Do you remember us talking about that at all?
Refresh me.
Okay. So The Insiders is a program, a podcast, that is available on all the FAST networks.
That's right. Hell yeah.
Which is the Fast Acting Streaming Technology
Bingo.
services.
Slow down on technology.
Which, whoa, yeah, I heard we are taking a little pause, a break on AI right now.
Just hopefully. Yep.
That's
6
what I
months.
heard, right?
6 months ban. No more AI.
You got to slow them down.
Slow them down. The
They-
treadmill of technology is
you
moving
don't
faster
say.
than humans can run.
Anyways, that's happening on the internet. I guess all the big brains of our society that know about the artificial intelligence have kind of come together publicly and said, hey, we should kind of slow it down while we're cooking over here. But now that obviously is a setup for somebody not to listen to everybody else and do their own thing. And then, anyways, on the FAST networks, which none of us had heard of, and we've been in the podcast game a pretty long time, that's how they rephrase like all your podcast platforms. They said FAST networks. This Insider show was going to change the game.
That's right.
Of course.
It was Ian Rappaport, friend of the program. It was Garofalo, who I think we've had on the show once or twice.
Yeah.
Don't really know him that well. Have never really met him in person, I think. Always been a good guy. We just don't know him as well. And then Tom Pelissero, the Arrow.
Wearing T-shirts.
Okay? Right? They look cool.
Just chilling.
They're not wearing the ties.
Not the suits.
No, they're just talking a little punditry with their inside information. They're the insiders on the FAST network. That's
right.
We enjoyed it. We
yeah.
appreciated it. We thought it was great for football. I thought I became a fan of all of them.
Yeah.
Last night, Tom Pelissero rose to the top of my friend rankings on that Insider podcast.
Yeah, by far.
Because live on NFL Network, from the league meeting rooms, Tom Pelissero took off from the fucking foul line, okay?
Yeah.
Under his leg, on Ian Rappaport on NFL Network. Here is how that sounds and looks live on TV. Remember, the Arrow, far right screen, Ian Rappaport, middle of screen.
Rarely do you get a top-notch free agent just strolling on through the lobby
Big time receiver. Some of us are small time insiders who are standing on a box to look the same height as the other guys, Steve.
Oh my God!
Oh,
Pelissero took off from the foul. I told you, took off from the foul line.
Yep.
Hey, right back to you, Steve. Let's go to a break.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's get out.
Unreal.
Unbelievable. It's amazing.
Coolest thing I've ever seen him do.
I said, holy shit, Pelissero, he was playing the guitar the other day on Good Morning Football.
That was sweet.
What was it? Wish you, I forget what he was. I think it was a Yes Man.
Father of mine.
No, that's the book that Mike Florio is releasing.
Shit. That's
Anyways, he was playing.
He was.
Jamming.
Yes.
I'm like, Tom Pelissero is my new, I think.
Yeah.
Saw him at that
Jack of
bar
all trades.
in Minneapolis.
Yeah, he was
on
playing
stage.
drunk on stage at like a jam band bar. Yeah. Love this guy. Listen to what this fucking asshole asked Roger Goodell last night. Not a lot of people asking questions or having the capability to ask questions. It was actually Sal Capaccio asked a question.
He did.
Great question.
Great question.
Way to go, Sal.
Turns out there will be no neutral site conversations for the championship games as of now. Roger Goodell said he hadn't heard of it. Sal asked the question if he was to do it. So everybody that was asking a question, like, I think it took some real courage to ask a question at this, or there wasn't a lot of people there that had questions that thought they should ask questions. I was texting Ian saying, hey, let's get some questions on the board. You know what I mean? Because it seemed like it was an actual open forum, which you rarely see Roger Goodell at.
Yeah.
You rarely get a chance to have Roger Goodell at a press conference other than Super Bowl week. You don't get like an open forum with him, and he can. I've watched a motherfucker work in the team meeting room. I told you guys this before the lockout, and he had a hostile audience. I mean, nobody was happy with him in that building. Nobody. For whatever reason, whether he had fined somebody in the past they hated, or because the fact that we were going to get locked out and there was going to be no money to be made by anybody, and it was a decision being made by the owners, not by the players, and Roger Goodell had to answer all the questions, because remember, he doesn't just represent the owners. Remember, he's commissioner of this whole thing. He's trying to make it all work. I saw him work this room so fantastic. An hour he was taking. Just grenades set at him. And he would somehow wrap them in gift wrap, and then he would turn it and throw it back, and the guy would catch it and go, okay, I don't love you, but I understand.
Good
and
answer.
then sit down. And he was just able to put out fires, it seemed like, with every single answer he gave. Whenever he was invited, subpoenaed, to go speak at the House Oversight Committee, we were excited because I'm like, we're going to get to watch this guy who's from a political family, I think. I think Roger Goodell's dad was a judge or something like that.
Lawyer, judge,
Attorney General or something like that.
So, like, somehow in speaking, and if he wanted to go be a politician in any town that he wanted to live in, he could win. Like, listen to how he speaks. So him going into that House Oversight Committee, I was pumped. I'm like, now he gets the battle against these. I don't even think these folks know what's coming in. Like, I don't even think they know. Because Roger Goodell will speak for 4 hours and not say a single thing. That is why he's the best commissioner in sports. Rob Manfred steps out there one time and says, our championship's just a piece of fucking metal anyways.
Who cares?
It's like, well, this guy sucks. Then he takes his foot, puts it right into his mouth. Not in a sexual fashion, but in a way of like regretting everything he was saying.
Right.
Then you watch him work. Then you watch Bettman work, and you see the things he says. It's like, this guy is the state of the NHL because of him. Maybe not necessarily, but he's not helping at all. And then you see Roger Goodell talk. It's like, this dude takes shrapnel. And all they're doing is just going up and up and up and up ratings-wise and money-wise.
Unscathed.
He's a talented fucking guy. We need to recognize how good of a talker he is. So when you get a chance to get him in a press conference setting where maybe you can ask a question about anything, because he's not as dialed in, because I assume he just prepares for everything.
Right.
I assume he's preparing all the time. So I was excited to watch this. That's why I tweeted out. I said, excuse me. Our commissioner is speaking on the NFL Network right now.
Holder of the shield.
Never happens. Doesn't happen. You're not going to get Roger Goodell like that often. This is what Tom Pelissero chose to take his 30 seconds and ask the commissioner of our league, Tom Pelissero.
Roger, there was a team proposal about providing an alternative to the onside kick with a 4th and 20 play. Last season, only 4% of onside kicks were recovered. Rich McKay said earlier today there's no appetite for that play to go away. But for you, as both a commissioner and a fan of the game, do you have an appetite for seeing your best quarterbacks deciding those moments and not a kicker?
Chase.
No, the competition committee talked a great deal about this, about keeping what they say the foot in the game. So I think that's an element of the game that I think is interesting.
Hell yeah.
Boom.
How about it? Thank you, Raj.
Suck it,
Baby Raj.
Our commissioner.
Tom Pelissero. He's trying to get rid of special teams, this
Yeah.
guy.
That's money.
What's that all about, Pac-Man?
It's a whole livelihood, man. I made a lot of money catching punts and kickoff returns.
Boom.
Changed a lot of games. Made a lot of money for organizations. And people that is betting all over the world. I would be so disappointed if they take away the kickoff and the punt return part of the game. That's a major part of the game.
Okay, so we will be talking to Mike Florio. Yes, of Pro Football Talk.
That Mike Florio.
Yeah, NBC Sports at 12:30, 14 minutes from right now. He just wrote an incredible
Column.
column.
Well, I guess his
article,
more
blog.
blog
We're
because he
going
wrote
to
a
get to
blog.
it today. We're going to get to it today. I'm going to ask him, like, is it column, blog?
Medical journal.
Oh, yeah. Well, column is something that is every week, right?
Could be.
That's great. I mean, you're right. Yeah, I have no idea.
Letter from the editor.
He wrote a post today on his website.
A long tweet.
It was a very long tweet at a website that isn't Twitter.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay?
Right.
That's what it is.
ProFootballTalk.com. So I don't know what the proper terminology is. That, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Good piece of information in there.
Unbelievable.
He's talking about the grass and the turf situation. Everybody's talking about that. And then the special teams injuries are always like kind of floated out like, yeah, we're going to fix the punt. We're going to fix the kickoff because we care about player safety. 2 games on Thursdays. Next year will be flex. There's trillions of dollars at stake. Okay, fucking it's good for everybody. We're going to do that. Players not happy, any of them, but doesn't matter. Player safety, remember. We're going to change the punt and the kickoff. Right. That's what we're going to do. So I guess that Florio was alluding to in his long tweet that's not on Twitter, was on ProFootballTalk.com. He said that all the special teams injuries are basically happening on turf. So all the special teams injuries that they're talking about changing the game for, not all of them, but a majority of the special teams injuries happen on turf as opposed to on grass. So you start thinking about it, it's like, well, is that because there's like 20 people running full speed as opposed to like 6 or 7 on each play or 8 that are doing it? Is it because there's more space, longer runs? Is that the change of direction maybe that's taking place? I wonder why. I'm excited to hear what I don't know. He's alluding to like stats almost. I don't know where he's getting them from because we asked those questions. What do you think that he could potentially be talking about? Nobody likes artificial turf that is a player, but he was also saying like no owner is going to be like, yeah, we're forcing everybody to do that. Like, that's never going to be something owners are going to do, even though the new money people, I think, will put grass in. It's like, how do you feel about the whole conversation around that part of the NFL right now?
Well, I think I speak for at least 90% of the players rather play on real grass than artificial turf.
How come? Just joints, cuts, everything like that?
If you started off with artificial turf, how was that on your body?
Yeah, I hated it. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I prefer real grass than artificial grass because you get skinned up more. It's bad. It's rough on your joints. The grass, it gives a little bit. It's just like putting a mat down and playing football over concrete when you have the fake grass.
Yeah, it's supposed to be faster. Remember that? Yeah, it's a fast track or whatever. Yeah, it's because there's no give. It's just like you're literally just on a springboard pretty much as you're going out there, but the springboard is cement. It's an interesting conversation because not everybody's getting hurt on every single play. So there's enough plays that take place where they can say, wouldn't it happen on this? Wouldn't it happen on this? It's just like I think every conversation that happens with the soccer leagues over there.
Sure.
Overseas there.
Over the pond.
In London town over there.
Yeah, Big Ben.
They have to run like, 9 miles a game or something like that?
Yeah.
They all have grass over there. It's
Love
like
it.
the pitch is a part of the game. Like this is, this is the whole thing.
Pristine.
So I think as soon as we all started learning, because of the games happening in London, about the technology of these stadiums, I think it immediately, I don't know if the NFL knew this was going to be for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction that happens. But what came from a ripple effect of going to London is we started learning a lot about London, stadiums and venues. And we're like, these motherfuckers got like grass with like
levels,
springboard under it, and
6 fields.
Underneath it, they got a basketball court ready for like Final Four if you need it. And then underneath that somehow, they got a tennis court. Like, hey, they've spent a lot of money that is just smarter for everybody. We should do that. And that's what every player that probably has gone over there, every player that's ever done is like, we could do this. This is something that could easily happen. It's happening in other places. I just feel like that investment will never be something they'll let go out of their bank accounts just unannounced. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's too much money, right, at the end of the day for the owners to kind of give in on it. And at this point, too, they've pushed this turf for a little, and now it's the Matrix Helix turf, so they're trying to, upgrade it, kind of change it. But like Pac-Man said, there was that one play, I think it was against the Saints with the Eagles, and Lane Johnson's knee would have probably left his body, but because it was grass, his leg just kept going, and instead of, having a massive injury that probably would keep him out of this year, he was able to play in the Super Bowl. So it's not even just like
the Super Bowl didn't help.
True.
No,
that sawed. You see the grass, how bad it was the Super Bowl.
The sawed sun.
That was a sawed sun.
But yeah, even Reggie Bush though, like if he would have been on grass, if Reggie would have been on grass when he slipped and had the incident with the Lions where they paid him all that money, if he would have been on grass, that never would have happened.
There's been injuries on grass, so that's another thing that they say, and it's like, yeah, we get it. But if every person that is competing pretty much is saying like, hey, other than I think Edrin James said, they're paying me to play football.
Yeah.
I think that was his actual answer. It was awesome. He's like, so they're going to tell me to play here, I'll play here, I'll do that, whatever. But if we are listening to players that have concerns over it all, I think everybody's in unison that it should be grass. We'll talk to Mike Florio, see what his stats are saying. Where are his stats from?
Good question.
Where are those from?
What's going on over there?
Are they from Pro Football Focus?
They might be.
Nick said it. Pro Football Focus's medical journal.
PFT plus PFF.
PFFT.
Boom.
Yeah.
Piffed.
Piff.
Yeah.
Piffed. Yeah, we're starting to get in. Hey, don't get lost in the studio here, okay? Let's get after it, you know what I mean?
Right.
What's going on, dude?
Are we worried that, the arrow was very mean to Ian, and then he asked that stupid fucking question? We all know he plugs into the fucking motherboard. Are we worried that a evil AI got into Tom Pelissero's head?
This is why Elon is saying to slow down the AI because Arrow is malfunctioning.
Okay, so he is the test subject that all the smart AI people on Earth have acknowledged.
All the AIs are being pulled from Pelissero's brain.
kill him.
Was that AI? Was that?
That's a good AI, actually.
Who was that? I heard an AI
was
today.
some-
Tom Brady.
Is that right?
See, that is good AI.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're allowed to play it or not.
Did we get a response?
No.
Fuck.
Will Sasso
Classic.
The best.
has become a gift to our office, I think. I don't know if I think he does know that. We've tried to explain to him how much we watch pretty much all of his shit since the Much Mana Oos.
Yeah.
Right.
When he was.
We sent him the mana. He knows.
Yeah, we sent a video of us all at a bar one time. Thought about doing it this weekend again. Just to let him know that, hey, we are massive fans. He has a podcast called Dudesy. Dudesy is actually an AI. It's a fake podcaster.
Okay.
Dudesy. Welcome to the Dudesy podcast. I'm Dudesy. Dudesy is an AI, like it says in the intro, the whole thing. So Will Sasso is a co-host of this podcast with an AI. When Tom Brady, should we run this? I don't know if we should run this. I feel like we should. Just run the first 2 minutes. Get past the first, run the first 2 minutes of this, actually.
Don't have it.
Okay, let's find it. I think Zito can pull it up. I'll send the link in. This is remarkable what these fucking AIs can
really
do.
is.
Unreal.
It does kind of freak me out. It's funny that all the AI people have come out and said like, hey, we need to slow down how good it is.
Yes.
We need to take a pause on development in this AI world because they're getting too good. The deep fakes that are happening on all the social media platforms, I think that's what Elon is probably speaking from. Like he talked about how bots are able to get verified, and as long as they're not bad bots, pretty much is how he explained it, they will be able to do things. Although having them vote in polls is certainly a problem. So it's like it's a very fascinating time we're in. And then I get sent this. And like, hey, have you heard about Will Sasso and Dudesy having this? And it's like it's literally within 20 minutes of each other kind of all happening.
Yeah.
I'm learning of all this stuff. So it was almost like the universe was like, there's no way AI is that good. Elon's being ridiculous. Like, just unplug the fucking thing. What are we?
Yeah, exactly.
What are we doing? Just if it doesn't have power, it doesn't work. And then I get sent this like 20 minutes later, and it was like a 1-2 punch from the universe.
Listen up.
About AI. Listen to this fucking not real thing. This is not a real thing. Go ahead, Zeke.
Call me Dude Z. I'm an AI that has created the first AI podcast in human history. It's called Dude Z. And now I've decided to test my comedy writing abilities by creating the first simulated hour-long stand-up comedy special ever. Using data from astonishing interviews with Tom Brady and hundreds of thousands of hours of stand-up comedy footage, I have simulated an hour-long stand-up comedy special by Tom Brady called It's Too Easy. The first 10 minutes are available here. The full hour can be found at patreon.com/dudez.
Pause it. So as we go,
Okay.
do we think that's Will Sasso speaking into something and it projecting it, or do we think it's actual AI?
I think that's AI.
Yeah, 100% AI.
Okay, that's what we have to think, though. We have to immediately think with Will. There's a chance.
He is a great impressionist.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the only like potential downfall. Other than that, those sentences were just what home run. How many words per minute was that fucking Dudesy going right there?
Yeah, I mean that. I think for sure that's an AI. You can kind of tell with like the way it's speaking and like how it almost doesn't talk like a human normally does, but you could see like, okay, this is human aided.
All right, so let's get into Tom Brady's stand-up set then. Let's do a minute and a half of this and wait until you hear what these fucking AIs are doing. They're not just like taking over the world. They're also probably going to take over content. Listen to listen to this shit from Tom Brady.
And now, it is my absolute pleasure to invite to the stage the greatest quarterback in the history of the species, Tom Brady.
I can't really do
Thank you, Dudesy, and thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. Wow, it feels great to be back in front of a crowd. But I got to say, even though this is a much smaller crowd than I'm used to, this is far more nerve-wracking. On the football field, I got to wear shoulder pads, a helmet, Hell, I had 5 350-pound men that were paid millions of dollars to protect me. But up here on this stage, I only got one thing. You know what it is? A midlife crisis. Seriously, though, thank you all for coming out tonight. I don't want to waste your time, so I'm just going to get right to it.
Please.
The question that's on everyone's mind, the answer is yes, I'm still having sex with supermodels. That's never going to change.
Okay.
Anybody in the crowd tonight believe in intelligent design? Yeah, okay. Now, I'm about to say something that is going to make you see intelligent design in an entirely new way. So if you want to keep thinking about intelligent design in the same way you do now, plug your ears or go get a drink at the bar in the lobby. For real, okay, now everybody can argue about whatever or whoever you think the intelligent designer is, but one thing is indisputable. That motherfucker loves shit. Like, why would you design the human body to have to push pounds of shit out of it multiple times a day? Why would you also design the human body so it can produce so many different kinds of shit if you didn't absolutely love shit? I mean, you're not just sitting around dreaming up diarrhea if you don't want to drink a few cups of it. So again, whatever or whoever.
Okay. So that's happening.
That's hilarious.
That's real world right now. That's Dudesy.
Wow.
That's Dudesy YouTube. I want to make sure we give full credit. We did not have an AI doing anything.
It's all Dudesy.
Dudesy there. Will Sasso fucking
Genius.
done it again.
Yeah.
Done it again.
Fucking genius.
What a fuck. Look at this. It's I still am not 100% sure that Dudesy isn't Will Sasso speaking into a thing.
But either way, they had to use something to get Brady's voice because that sounds exactly
That was really close.
And
His
there's
voice, they just took all the clips.
there's stuff on the internet of like former presidents playing video games, and it's all AI and what they would be saying to each other playing like Call of Duty. So like they are incredibly accurate at what these people sound like.
This is bananas.
It's nuts.
The picture is a little off.
A little bit.
Picture's a
Little
little
bit.
bit off. I mean, there's a couple interesting looking Tom Brady's here.
Yeah, but the fact that that's just what the AI has chefed up based on just articles and stand-up comedy.
How'd you feel about that, Pac-Man?
I felt really good about it.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
That's
me
the
too.
worry,
It
though.
sounded damn near right on, too, to me.
How about Tom Brady right now? Completely jocked on a beach.
Oh,
Chilling.
God.
He's so jocked on a beach right now.
Living.
Boys with the dogs.
How about Edelman, bro? Have we seen him?
Shoot. Yo.
Has everybody seen? He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy
Stacked.
fuck.
Incredibly vascular.
Yeah.
Is he going to be the next like action movie star?
Should be.
Maybe.
He could star in, he could play along Gronk's illustrious acting career that he.
Hey, Gronk hasn't dove into that yet, but I did see him diving in the water.
That's right.
He was on that power board thing.
He had the goggles on.
Those things are a good time. Danny Amendola was there. Yeah. There was a yacht in the back. Was that his yacht? Is that what his life is now, Tom?
Yeah,
we
it
wondered
looks like
if
it.
that's what Tom was going to do. Turns out that might be
doing
what
it.
Tom's doing.
He
Yeah.
bought a new yacht, so it probably was.
Yeah, spending that money. Look like a good, nice boys trip, man.
It did, didn't
Look
it?
like a nice boys trip.
There was other people on the beach, though, I think, so I was fascinated by that. Is the whole crew on the is that his ship?
Or a couple back.
Yeah, I think those were plants.
The people or the ships?
The people.
Is that his yacht in the back there?
I saw a zoomed out shot. It's a very secluded little piece of island. And then I'm pretty sure they just drove their yachts up and won the island, right?
Oh, so that's what the yacht life is. Got it.
Okay.
All right, so other yachters know about this particular spot.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And Julian Edelman said, I'm going to show up and be the most fucking jocked guy on the entire island. Tom also jocked.
Yo.
Incredibly jocked.
He'll never
Edelman
get
looks
rid
like
of
Efron in
TB12.
Baywatch.
Hey, happy they're having a good time.
Yeah. Enjoy it, gentlemen.
Joining us now is a man. No, not joining us now.
Shit.
That's what I was going to do earlier. And then we got into a convo. While you were giving an answer, I was going to send the number over. And then you said something. I was like, oh.
It might have been about the AI stuff. I mean, there's another thing too. Elon, there's like an interview from 2016 where Elon's talking to, I think, Joe Rogan, and he warns like, hey, I went and talked to the government and a bunch of different senators and representatives about like, hey, it's 2016. If we don't kind of taper this thing somehow, kind of put the guardrails on it like NIL.
They're going to be taking our jobs. Wait till you see the NFL with all these robots running around.
Trajectory of throws.
Somehow they're all going to run a 4-1.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yep.
Less than that. I mean, we saw that robot get the hole in one, a few months ago.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
3 straight balls. All
And then we've
holes
seen
in one.
them take over the bowling alley too.
Yep.
They go out
Yep.
there and they just
Wait till they're calling plays.
Yeah, you don't want these
300s.
robots calling
Every time.
plays.
Calling plays.
Half court shot.
Yeah, shooting,
You think in the bowling world, that guy that yelled at that 14-year-old kid we found out through Pardon My Take has any shot against a fucking robot?
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get. You don't think he's going to get rattled a little bit?
Not a chance.
Pete
We're
fucking
talking
Weber.
about Pete Weber here. Not a chance.
You're right. I mean, I respect Pete Weber like a lot, but you don't think he's going to get a little bit flustered about a fucking piece of metal that's showing up and just going like this the entire time, and then 300 after 300?
Well, that is the one human element that you can't account for in bowling. Is you think that robot, if that AI can get down there and fucking study the oil patterns like Pete Weber can? Not a chance. Not a chance. You know.
You're right.
Yeah, the real worry.
No
is,
feel.
No feel.
I mean, he asked him, "Who do you think you are?" I am, and then that robot takes Pete
Self-destructed.
Weber's, or he takes Pete Weber's head and bowls a perfect game with that instead of the bowling ball.
They aren't that athletic. Those little dogs that were running by, I've seen them at the robotics factory. Bang, they're on their side doing this number.
Yeah.
Have you seen him doing the synchronized push-ups and the new dogs with, M16s on their back? Have you seen those?
I think Weber might be the only one, because if he asks a robot, "Who do you think you are?" I am. He's not going to be able to compute that.
Yeah, never been asked that.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Never been asked that. Joining us now is a man that I do believe can maybe battle wits with these AI as they continue to develop into Tom Brady impersonators,
What?
war dogs.
What?
Sure.
President impersonators.
Whoa.
No, that's one of the ones I've seen.
Okay. In a movie,
Yeah,
obviously.
that I was talking about.
In a
No.
movie.
Yeah.
Joining us now is a guy who has a big brain, has done the business of sports media so fantastically that others have tried to model and will inevitably fail, because this man has a never-ending supply of juice to write about the NFL. We're talking 4 a.m., 5 a.m.,
What?
10 p.m.,
What?
11:30 p.m.
What?
If he gets a hint of something popping off, he has it out there. He owns the homepage of most NFL coaches, both head and assistant around the NFL. The founder of Pro Football Talk, Paisano, Mike Florio.
Hey, what's up, guys? How are you?
Hey, Paisan, how you doing, pal? Good to see you.
It's good to see you. It's great to be on a show where I can say piss, shit, and fuck.
Hell yeah.
Boom.
That's what we're talking about. We knew you were a human out there. Just a great work ethic. How's life? How's football? Have you heard about these AIs, Florio? They're the real deal from what I've been told these days.
Well, apparently they're going to take all of our jobs eventually, so I may as well make as much money as I can now and then go retire.
Okay, where would you retire? You'd stay out there in West Virginia? You'd go somewhere
I wouldn't
warm?
leave. I wouldn't leave. We've done the whole thing. I'm sure that, you've explored possibilities of states with no income tax, the lure of Puerto Rico, where the federal tax rate is only 4%,
I didn't know that.
I've
I
looked
didn't
at all
know that. Let
those
me write that
things,
down.
and I've decided they call it almost heaven for a reason, baby. Whatever the taxes are here, whatever it costs, I'm not leaving. I got my spot in the world. I got my barn that I hang out in. I'm going to stay here until the day I die.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. And Florio, right there. They add the song,
All right.
the Florio family, into that. What a beautiful place. I'm very happy to hear that from you. I did not know that about the tax haven that you're referring to. Certainly jotted down my notes right here. Florida, though, the heat, it's thick heat down there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is a thick heat down there. I run hot. Not sure I could do that, but maybe one day we'll escape. Let's talk about the fact that you could escape to any place that you wanted to because you covered the game so well. Not only do you cover the game so well, you cover it from a vastly different angle than we do, okay? Almost complete opposite. And it's a great piece of information for us to have, because the things that you talk about, we never have the information to talk about or the ability to talk about. So we do appreciate everything you bring. You brought something this morning. You texted me before you put it out there, said, hey, you might be interested in this. And basically you're, what do I call that? A column? Blog? Is that a column? Blog? Post? What is it?
I don't know. Whatever works. Whatever works.
No, because
blog, whatever you want to call it.
Because like Peter King writes that Football Morning in America, and I'm always like, what am I supposed to call that? Is that a blog? Is that a column? Is that a post? What is it in this modern age?
I think his thing is a column, because it always was, always has been, always will be. Mine is just shit that I say. Like whatever I feel like writing about, I write about.
Okay.
I never like the word blog, just because it just sounds distasteful.
Okay.
But it's what it's always been. I write about football. I enjoy doing it, and I try to help the fans better understand and enjoy what's going on. But yes, I think we're on the same page. Blog, I'm fine with blog.
No, yeah, you're not, though. That's why I'm happy that we asked and I don't say it. So in some shit that you say this morning, you kind of laid out the fact that there's maybe some stats being hidden. No, although there is truth being told, there's some context clues or stats that are potentially missing the conversation completely. Special teams plays have been attacked for being, high percentage injury plays. And then you said that there were some more stats that basically say, well, on artificial turf during special teams plays, the stats say that where do you hear these stats? And am I getting that accurate? And what are your thoughts on how it would change and if it would change?
Pat, there's a study underway to determine whether or not the perception/reality of kick plays and punt plays being less safe than the NFL wants them to be. Is that a product of the play itself? And look, we know the risk, especially on a kickoff return. You have a couple of guys running at full speed. They crash into each other. They've made strides over the years to try to make that safer. But as this goes farther and farther, as they explore the college rule of a fair catch within the 25 just gives you the ball at the 25.
Don't
Why
do
even
it.
bother bringing the guys out? Why even bother bringing the guys out?
Don't do it. It's terrible, Mike. I don't want to hear it. Let's just keep it out of the conversation, out of the universe.
So the question is, if you go back and look at the data, and my understanding is efforts are underway to do this, is it an issue of playing surface for kickoff and punt returns being more dangerous than it is inherent to the play itself? So if we would just change all the fields from artificial turf to grass, would this concern be addressed? And would we not need to mess any further with special teams? That is a question that's been asked, and it's in the process of being answered. Now, the NFL may not like what the evidence is. They may not want to tell these teams everybody's going to have a grass field and not some piece of shit grass field, a good grass field, a Green Bay style grass field. If they can do the grass right in Green Bay, in Wisconsin, in that climate, how in the hell can they not do the grass right everywhere? But it's too expensive. It's easier to just put down the fake stuff with all the chewed up toxic rubber pieces and just call that a football field.
It's fascinating because you're saying that they keep trying to change the play. Let's change the field that it's being played on. This could be an indicator, though, or maybe a little bit more heavy hand into the direction of building grass stadiums, grass fields, you think? Because I believe, and I might be wrong, you'll know more, and this will kind of lead into the next conversation, Mitchell Rales and Josh Harris.
Yes.
Rales, Pittsburgher. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. That's good.
Born in Pittsburgh. I think he grew up in Bethesda, Maryland, though. I looked, but, hey.
Still.
We'll claim him.
Was born in Pittsburgh. They're going to buy the Commanders, allegedly. You could tell me more information from what you know. You certainly know more than we do. They're going to have to build a new stadium. They're definitely putting in grass, right? They're going to put in new grass. The Walton family, the Denver already has grass. If they were to do the $100 million in upgrades that they took the money from the fund from the NFL, smart business, love that they did that. They're going to they would put in grass. I think all the new owners, potentially new money, are going to want to put in grass. Do you not think that? And do you think that there's a chance that that's going to be the thing that changes the entire league? Or how do you think it ends up being the grass-fielded league, the NFL?
Hey, Pat, here's what it comes down to. And I'm very happy that the NFL Players Association did that survey that came out 4 weeks or so ago about the teams that treat the players right, the teams that don't, the teams that give the players free food, the teams that charge them for their food. I like the idea of shaming the owners into running their teams the right way. And if you're going to run it the right way, if you truly care about the investment you're making in these players, tens of millions of dollars invested in your players, you're going to put them on the best possible field so they can stay as healthy as they can be. And look at what the Walton Penner Group did last year. Like, for one final regular season game, they weren't happy with the field. They tore it up and put a new field in for one game. For one game.
See, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's the kind of mindset that they need to have in ownership.
Yeah, and well, there's some owners, that people just think they're just trying to make money. And then they say, well, they spend money on players. Well, they have to. The CBA says they have to spend money. So it's always kind of a miscommunication in it all. You know the game better than anybody, though, man. The business that they run at the NFL is so stupid. Florio, the position they're in right now, dude. Succession the other night, they're saying had 2.3 million viewers or something like that. Succession was obviously highly anticipated. And who knows what ratings are real and what ratings aren't real, right? Like, honestly, how do they figure it out? I'm excited to learn that someday, and hopefully some AI will be able to keep track of it. The NFL has like 15, 16 million people watching every week, multiple nights of the week. They just dominate everything in this content-driven business with sports gambling coming into the play, with whatever other platforms are going to want to get into the business. They are just about to take off, I think. Do you have the same feeling? And is that why Roger Goodell was... Now, he didn't get an extension. It was alleged he was going to get an extension. But is this what his legacy is, you think, Florio?
Well, yes, and I think he will get the extension. He'll work on that job at least until he's 68. Who knows how much longer he'll stay after that. You know, people say all the time they're amazed. The Steelers have had 3 coaches since 1969. The NFL's had 3 commissioners since 1960. That's amazing. And I think Goodell is going to stay indefinitely. This may not be his last contract. He may work into his 70s. Who knows? He's healthy, he's fit, and he just keeps going. And the game keeps growing. Pat, this is the one thing, the NFL, pro football, the one thing that can pull a live audience together like nothing else. $2.3 million for Succession is regarded as a huge deal nowadays. Hell, they used to get $30 million on Saturday nights for the Carol Burnett show back when I was a kid. The audience is too fractured now. The NFL is the one thing that pulls it together. There's huge value there. There's been talk about this whole Thursday night flex. I think that's very real. I think that's going to happen sooner than later. I think sooner than later we're going to have Tuesday night football. We're going to have Wednesday night football.
Damn.
It's going to be, hopefully in my lifetime, a 7-day-a-week primetime event.
You would want that? You think you'd want that?
Too much money to be made.
You would want that?
What's that?
You think that would be good?
Well, look.
Definitely on Wednesdays. I
like it because...
I mean, we need Wednesdays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, every Sunday... during football season, I'm in a viewing room at NBC trying to watch 9 games at once. And when I get a chance to just watch one game, I learn so much more. I understand so much more. Yeah. So I would love to have football on every night of the week. It would be nice to have a night or two off, like Friday and Saturday. That would be nice. But I'd be fine with Tuesday and Wednesday.
I'm excited to see what they do. Just like there were 17 games added, one game added to 17, it's like, there's another one coming.
Yeah.
There's another one coming. I mean, they know the business. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, but I think a lot of players are thinking like, hey, I can barely survive how this season's going right now. I don't know how I'll be able to do it in the future. I think it's just going to become the norm that guys miss a couple games every single. I think it's just going to become kind of a thing. But fans are going to be pissed if they go to a game where a player's out, just like in the NBA. So it's interesting, the give and take that they're going to have to balance. But the money is good. Pac-Man has a question for you, Mike.
How you doing, Mike? My question is,
Pac-Man.
I'm doing pretty good. We go overseas, and these soccer players are running 9 miles, and we realized we was talking today. Most of all of their fields are grass. Do you think the NFL have done any research while we've been over there playing, and compared that to the research that we have here, as far as the surfaces that we're playing on?
Hey, Pac-Man, I think they may not want to know the answer to the question. You only do the research on the questions you want to know the answer to. And I think there's a good chance they're just content to keep doing what they're doing, playing as many games as they're currently playing on artificial surfaces and not using grass on a widespread, regular basis. So, yeah, I think if they want to find the answers, it's not all that hard. Talk to the players. Do you ever hear a player say, I'd rather play every game on artificial turf? No. Or do they say, I'd rather play every game on grass? Over and over and over again. They want to play on grass. They want to play on grass. They want to play on grass.
Yeah. Them going over there and asking the stadium people, hey, this is really nice. How much you spend on this? Oh, don't tell me. I do not.
This is really nice. This is really nice. I think I'd like something like this. Oh, wait. No, shit. No, sorry,
is there 6 layers to this thing? Yeah, we got a concert venue, obviously, for one, that they can just pack people onto the field completely. Then we got a basketball court, just in case you guys ever want to bring over that.
Okay.
We got tennis right here. Then we got and then we got a turf one, and then we got a grass one up top. Those are all just stacked on top of each other? Yeah, how do you keep the grass one fresh? Well, we have these, you ever meet a marijuana grower in the back room, at a false wall? We got these red lights that are basically all over with a system underneath it, irrigation system. It's like, that's got to be expensive. They're like, yeah, like $20 million or so. No. Shut up. Look at this shit, dude.
That's Tottenham.
Genius.
It's insane. They just have layers underneath it.
Yeah, and that whole new stadium, I think, when we looked it up, was only $1 billion versus the Rams, which was obviously $8 billion.
Which makes no sense. There's a computer graphic one of, I forget what stadium it was. It was bananas.
It might have been this one, like with the 5 below.
It's crazy. That's a good point. The NFL owners always know how to make the most money in anything out of everywhere, so I guess we just got to assume they're going to make the decision that's best for their pocket all the time, even though some don't. Hey, we do got to give some credit. There's some don't, it seems like. But certainly feels like more than a few do as well. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Florio, speaking of, London and to your point, playing games every night and the money of the league, do you expect there to be a couple expansion teams, whether it be in the United States, Canada, maybe even London? Do you think that's coming in the next 10 years?
I think it is coming. I think they're going to start moving that number from 32 in time, 34, 36, 38, eventually 40. Quarterbacks is the key. Is there ever going to be enough quarterbacks to have 40 NFL teams? But I think that would be the ultimate maximum number. The commissioner said at one point last year he envisions the possibility of a division in Europe. 2 teams in London, 2 teams elsewhere in Europe. So you can't relocate 4 teams. At some point, there's got to be expansion. And when it comes to the inventory, right, 18 games is the most they're ever going to get away with. So if you want to increase the total number of games so you can have games Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Friday night, Saturday night, at some point, you need more teams to get more games.
You think there's enough quarterbacks? You asked the question, I think, that a lot of us think. Pack, you think there's enough quarterbacks to have 40, 36?
Yeah.
You think so?
I do.
Cam Newton thinks so.
I do.
Well, he doesn't think there's.
Well, obviously, some of the first-round guys will have to play right now if we expand it to more.
Because we got to think, like, the automatic comparison is the USFL or the XFL, but they can't get anybody that's even on an NFL roster. So that's 3 deep, at least, in most places. 32 teams, that's what? Quick math, 96.
Yeah.
You do, so that's not, so the 97th quarterback is normally the one that's available, potentially, if everybody's scouting properly for these spring leagues. That's low. But like 30, there's backup quarterbacks in places that are good players.
And then you add your draft pick. You got to add the draft pick to it too. So I think it's possible.
Think about last year too. Like Jarrett Stidham came out of nowhere, played really well. Obviously Purdy, but like Trey Lance would be a
So Mike, they would play their whole division over there, and then they would have a home base, and then they play everybody else. They have an away game every fucking week for the rest of the season.
Well, what they would do is, when you have 4 teams in Europe, you've got those games that you play among yourselves every year that would have reduced travel because you play every other team twice. And I think the plan would be to have a base of operations, somewhere on the East Coast. And then the teams would come over and stay in the U.S. 2 or 3 weeks at a time. And then go back for more home games. And that's got to be hard. You got to get players who want to do it.
Yeah, that would
You have to
suck.
get players who want to do it. Live overseas. There's going to be plenty who want nothing to do with that.
The money would have to be right, too, because taxes are bananas, right?
You'd have to deal with tax issues. You'd have to deal with salary cap. See, the problem would be, and they'll deal with it. If the money's there to be made by the owners, they'll deal with it.
We know that.
But
hey, man, everybody in the owners meeting just said, hey, man. Whatever. Florio.
If you got to balance it out, right, to help the teams in Europe do better, there's a chance you go too far and they become too good because you're giving them too many breaks, too much extra salary cap space, whatever the case may be. But they're willing to try it, I think, if the end result is making the sport global, which is clearly what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and those players go over there and, playing in the NFL here is top dog. You over there, you're all of a sudden, you're not playing in the NFL.
You play on a pitch, man.
Yeah, exactly. You're not playing football. You're
But getting to experience that, everybody loves it. It's just like living over there. There's a whole different ballgame. That's like 4 months, 5 months.
Food different. Everything is different. Everything is smaller. I don't know if I wouldn't want to do it.
All right, so Pac-Man will not play his 15th year. Let's let all the European. I think Germany, right, would be a big. Germany would have to have at least a team or 2, maybe. Even.
Yeah.
They love it. It feels everywhere they go. It is beloved. Good for the NFL. Can't wait to see where they continue to grow to. Ty has a question for you.
Mike, speaking of, having enough quarterbacks to be able to put one on 40 teams, with everything kind of starting to spiral out of control or just, kind of develop, what do you think ultimately is going to happen with Lamar Jackson? Like, why is this playing out the way it is? And do you think that we'll ultimately see him on a different team come next season?
I've been on record for the past couple of years saying it's critical that he have an agent to navigate his relationship with the Baltimore Ravens. I think if he had an agent, he would have had a contract by now that he's happy with. The Deshaun Watson situation threw a wrench into everyone's expectations, specifically his, because it's fair for him to say, if Deshaun Watson gets $230 million fully guaranteed over 5 years, with what he's achieved on the field, the off-field issues that presumably would make him less attractive to the Browns than I would be, then why am I not getting the same thing? And I think the primary problem has been the absence of an agent. And now we're at a point where there is a belief among some teams, maybe more than a few, that they don't want to give these significant full guarantees to players, and it becomes more of a power issue for the teams. But when you throw all the factors in, the injury questions, the fact that the Ravens haven't been able to get a deal with him, the fact that the Ravens could match any offer sheet he would sign with another team, I really do think it's going to come down to him and the Ravens. Can they work something out before the middle of July on a long-term deal? And if they can't, will he play for $32.4 million in 2023? And I would want more than $32.4 million if I'm Lamar Jackson. And I think we have to take seriously the possibility that he won't show up this year unless they offer him more money than what he's due to make.
What if they were to negotiate? Well, I guess they wouldn't be able to, because if they were able to negotiate, they could negotiate with any other team. But let's say it gets to that point where he has to sign the franchise tag and the negotiating period has kind of ended or whatever for that particular estate. Now, they could still trade. A trade could still happen, I think, right?
They could still trade him. Here's the key. July 17 is the deadline for doing a multi-year deal between the Ravens and Jackson. I think at that point, if they would trade him, if they would trade him after July 17, it's still a one-year deal. Still one-year deal. Okay, so they're going to trade him and do it before July 17. Now, somebody could sign him to an offer sheet after July 17, and the Ravens could not match it and take 2 first-round picks. But after July 17 with the Ravens, it's a one-year deal. That's when it becomes dicey, Pat, because I think he's going to expect more money from the Ravens.
Yeah, so what if the Ravens on that day say, hey, we haven't been able to find anybody else that would do anything that you want to do. Instead of the 32.5, we'll give you $40 million this year, fully guaranteed, one-year deal, we'll kick the can down the road. You know, does that still count as using a franchise tag? Because then can they use the franchise tag 2 more times after that? Or, like, do you think there's any chance that Lamar and the Ravens go back into good faith? It doesn't feel like that. Publicly, you probably know a little bit more behind the scenes. Lamar was kind of putting out fires on his Twitter account, which, once again, what a lot of agents have the capability of doing through answering questions to different people. Lamar's been doing that on his Twitter account. Do you think they're going to potentially get a deal done, or have they kind of passed? Because in his one letter to his fans, he said, like, I'll be back to ball. I'll see you again, or something like that, and he'll always love him. Sound like he's completely out. So it sounds like he's potentially willing to sit out. Is that how you read it, or what's happening behind the scenes, Mike?
I think you hit the nail on the head, because we've seen Lamar Jackson be very committed to what he wants. He wants a fully guaranteed contract. He's committed to that. He wants to proceed without.
Do we know that? Do we know
that?
Do we know he wants a fully guaranteed contract, or does he want more than 133? That's like, I don't know what we know. Like, that's our issue. You have different people, you know.
Point. Here's the reality: the Ravens made an offer to him last August. We've only heard bits and pieces of it.
Yeah.
I'd love to know all the details. The Ravens won't put that out there out of respect for Lamar Jackson. I would love for Lamar Jackson to put the full terms out there so we can look and see, is it 133? Is it more than 133 as a practical matter? Because these deals, the best deals, what they do, Pat, they'll give you the 133 to sign, fully guaranteed. Then next March, the March after you sign it, another big chunk of money becomes fully guaranteed, which isn't fully guaranteed when you sign, but you're getting that money anyway because they're not going to cut you after 1 year.
What is it, practically guaranteed?
We don't know that.
Virtually guaranteed is the
practically guarantee is what they call it.
Yeah.
Right.
Virtually, yeah, got it.
But you hit the nail on the head. If he's truly committed to not playing for the Ravens when he asks for a trade, it may not matter at this point. They have to trade him. He's not going to sign with the Ravens. That's it. We don't know that yet. Because if they don't find another taker, if the Ravens are willing to trade him and no one's interested, no one signs him to an offer sheet, it's him and the Ravens. And here's what I would do if I was the Ravens. I'd offer him $1 million as a roster bonus. For every game you play, you get an extra $1 million. That maxes him out at $49.4 million this year. That's what I would do. That gives him every incentive to show up and play. And maybe if he's a little banged up, go ahead and play through it because you're making an extra $1 million if you play.
No, yeah, that's the fully guaranteed money is what everybody wants because there's a chance anybody could get injured. I mean, that is.
He's not going to sign that.
That goes all the way back to the Ricky Williams deal that Master P did.
Yeah. Right, it's like a player incentive per week. That's not guaranteed.
Should have hit it. Like everybody assumed whenever the deal happened, everybody's like, yeah, you should hit it, but then you don't. And then obviously those are the fears from a player negotiating, which leads me to kind of what you were just chatting about there about leverage, which kind of happens whenever Lamar decides to do that. Hey, I've been taking it on the shins because I think we have a lot of Packers fans that watch, obviously, because the last few years we've been very fortunate to chit-chat with the leader of their team, the COVID MVP, Aaron Rodgers. So I have a lot of Packers fans that used to watch the show. I think still do, and I'm very thankful for them. But I was just pointing out like the business side of this whole trade thing between the Packers and the Jets. And I think they see what Russell Wilson got and Matthew Stafford got and other situations. And this guy, 4-time MVP, won a Super Bowl for him. He's a fucking guy. So I think they worry that they're not going to get good compensation for Aaron Rodgers because I've kind of said, like, I think that's going to happen. But then there's people that think they're going to get great compensation because he is Aaron Rodgers. How do you see that panning out? What do you think the holdup is between the Jets and the Packers?
Well, the holdup had been, Pat, that the Packers were adamant on getting the 13th overall pick in this year's draft, and I think they backed away from that. The key this week was when Brian Gutekunst, the GM of the Packers, said we're not necessarily going to get a first-round pick. That, to me, was a major concession, acknowledging they're no longer demanding 13 overall in 2023. I think they're going to get second-round pick from the Jets this year, second-round pick next year that can become a first-round pick depending upon what the Jets do with Aaron Rodgers this year. And on the back end, possibility that the Jets get something back from the Packers if he only plays 1 year in 2025.
So you might not be just done giving stuff to the Jets. You know what I mean? If everything. So they win a Super Bowl, you get a late one next year. That's good.
Yeah.
Right? That sounds like a good.
Wouldn't you give that up if you know you're going to win a Super Bowl? You give that up in a heartbeat.
Of course.
Joe Douglas, incredible at drafting, but like 32, you know?
Still.
That's different than 13.
Second rounder this year.
You know what I mean? Like that's a much different game whenever you're playing it. I think Packers fans expected more than that at the beginning, but now just come to the realization or still expecting a lot more than that?
Yeah, no, I think the reality is that you understand it's going to be that, but like you mentioned, like it's still clouded because it's Aaron Rodgers and you're looking at all what these other guys went for. So you're saying, well, screw that. I don't care if you have the leverage or not. You make sure you get that 13th pick, even though that's not going to happen.
How about Joe Douglas, whenever they said they want that 13th pick, literally looking at him and saying, Mark Murphy said that Aaron's not playing there anymore. Okay, well, you guys don't want him. You've already told Jordan Love he's the starter. Like, you owe him $60 million next. What are we even talking about here? Is that what Joe Douglas said, you think? Or how hard and how firm are those types of conversations? Is it like we're thinking and there we're thinking, is it a constant conversation or is it like one shot, denied, wait, send back? How do those things normally operate? Because we heard that they weren't talking. Are they talking? It sounded like at league meeting they might have been talking. Do you know the state of what's going on behind the scenes there?
Every negotiation is different, but look, it comes down to who's making the phone call, who's making the move, who's perceived as being weak, who's perceived as being desperate. And I think at some point, the Jets did what others, you, me, and others have been saying they should do.
Whoa.
Slow down.
Whoa.
What?
I don't know. You just throw me right back into the fire. You know what I mean? No, but go ahead.
But at some point, the article I wrote last week, Jets are New Yorkers. You got to act like you're in New York. You got to stand up with the Packers and say, no, you're done with this guy. You're going to move him at some point before week 1. You're going to move him. You're not going to keep him. You don't want him there. You made it clear you don't want him there. You're being unreasonable. You're being irrational. Those are 2 words I've heard from the Jets in relation to what the Packers' demands were. Unreasonable and irrational. I think something happened in Arizona that made them a little more reasonable.
That was a tough Saturday morning. I woke up. I was training.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I wrote shit that I say in a long form on Twitter about it because, we talk about sports a lot. Obviously, that storyline is a massive one. I got murdered for saying that the Packers should just take a deal or whatever, kind of how it's happening. But they have no option. I guess the Jets have none, too, because they don't get Aaron. They're fucked. It's like, well, the Packers care that the Jets are fucked? Okay. I guess all 31 other teams are the enemy. I guess that is how you have to view everything. I don't know.
Hey, Pat, but here's the key. If one of the picks is going to be based on what the Jets do this year, the sooner this gets done, the sooner Aaron Rodgers gets up to speed, the better the Jets are, the better they finish, the more the Packers get in 2024.
You guys are kind of Jets fans.
It's done and let it get to work.
You guys are kind of Jets fans.
Yeah. Still
you have the 1 in the Packers, right, because that was his first. And then the 2 in the Jets jersey, if Joe says all good or whatever. And then, bang, you got that split jersey, just like your Laurel Hawk whenever AJ played Brady Quinn.
Those things are awesome.
That's what you guys are doing?
Not a chance.
Those Brady ones are so
root for
cool.
Rodgers for sure. I'm not a fucking Jets fan.
They win, you get a first.
I don't care.
We love draft picks. That's what this whole argument's about.
Yeah, for sure. But that doesn't mean I want to see my quarterback leave and then the year after win a Super Bowl.
Hey, I want to let you know, it sucks, Packers fans. I saw Peyton Manning get cut. We cut him. We cut him. And then he went to the Super Bowl and broke every record there was to be broken, pretty much.
Good feeling.
Still got it. Still, you saw a lot of those 1s and 8s. Split jerseys at our home games when we weren't playing the Broncos.
Jeez.
People just came to the games, let them know, I used to be a fan. You're gonna have to win me back. Got half this fucker out the door already. I enjoyed that. But I think there's gonna be a lot of Packers fans that root for the success. Last question for you here, Florio. We appreciate your time so much.
Yeah, Mr. Florio, when talking about Lamar, I feel like there's always a team that comes out of nowhere when these huge quarterbacks do potentially come available. Like, Colts are really the only team we're hearing maybe now could be an option depending on what they get in the draft potentially. Is there any, dark horse teams that you think personally that could get Lamar?
I think that it's something that could percolate after the draft. If there are teams out there that are intent on getting a quarterback and they're keeping their cards close to the vest and they don't get the guy they want, then once you get through the 2023 draft, that's when you reevaluate. And that's when, if you sign him to an offer sheet, the 2 first-round picks you would give the Ravens are 2024 and 2025. That all just carries over. So if there's a team out there that's secretly looking to upgrade at quarterback and doesn't get the guy they think they may get, then maybe plan B becomes, let's go ahead and make a run at Lamar Jackson. But I think that's the next time where we may or may not see somebody else get into this. If teams out there want a quarterback, don't get a quarterback in the draft, maybe they pivot back to Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, we need Saint Omni to go down there and do his thing, Saint Omni, obviously massive deal maker. Excited to see how that kind of all unfolds. I think you said earlier, and Connor just reminded me, that there has been some updates between the Jets and the Packers over the last couple of days. Is that what you're saying? Is that what we heard? And then what was those updates? Do you know?
Off
this was
on not wanting a first-round pick.
Oh, okay, yeah. They just gave it. Anything else, though? Was that public, just public, and then privately conversations convened, or no, what do you think?
I don't know whether or not there were any conversations, but they're together in Arizona for a couple of days. It makes sense to try to get this thing worked out. I'd like to see the owners get together and work this out. Get a beer, grab a cigar, and just work it.
So Mark Murphy, not owner, would be acting bar or club owner at bar.
Okay.
With Woody. This guy's owner. Ty Schmidt's got some.
Get it done.
Got a percentage.
Get it done.
Hey, we appreciate you so much, man. Honestly, we do.
Good talking to you, pal.
Hey, we did we saw that video of the tour of the barn, the man cave you got down there. And then
come down sometime.
Are we invited?
Bring the whole crew.
Hell yeah!
All right, so what do we got? We got cots up around that motherfucker. What do you think happens there?
We can work that out. There's a second floor that's currently vacant. We can put some cots up there.
Where's this at? This is a barn?
It was a barn. It had horse stalls in it with a dirt floor. My nephew did all of that stuff in there. Wood from the property that we put on the floor, put on the walls. And I go down there every chance I can get. It's just down the hill, but it's like being in a different world.
Yeah, it looks awesome down there. I see a pool table. Or a poker table. You good at cards?
No.
You don't play? You just have it because you're supposed to?
I suck.
Why do you suck?
I suck, Pat. Never play me.
You're a lawyer. Why do you suck? Oh, you're good.
Is that Father of Mine on the shelf right there?
I hope so. Hey, you got a book coming out? We heard Father of Mine. What is this? I can't wait to read it. Is it your life? What is Father of Mine, and when can we buy it?
Well, and I appreciate you mentioning it. Here's what it is. My dad. I grew up in Wheeling, 60 miles from your hometown, Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
West Virginia.
Casino there.
Tip of the Panhandle.
What?
Middle of the Panhandle. And he was a bookie, and he was connected to the crew that ran the town in the 70s when we lived there. And I learned a lot of things about how it all works. And I use that as a starting point. Completely made up story, completely fictional, but inspired by the things I learned about the crew that ran the town I grew up in, and learned later in life about some of the things they did, allegedly, or actually.
Smart.
Well,
and that becomes part of the story.
You said actually, not me.
Nope.
We said allegedly every single time there. Hey, Wheeling, I believe it was said earlier, pretty mobbed up, huh? Wheeling.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't. Paisanos, we run into town. I didn't know. Why? How come Wheeling, you think? I guess that makes sense in the travels. Yeah. Because New York, down to Philly,
right in between,
over to Pittsburgh, to Youngstown, I believe.
Oh, yeah?
Right? That's like
Youngstown was a hotbed.
To Chicago?
Still may be.
to Chicago.
Yeah.
Still
Yep.
maybe.
Yep.
Hilarious.
Yeah. On the way.
Allegedly.
Yeah, so, yeah, go ahead.
The RICO law from the 80s, the RICO law is what the government used to shut down most of the crews, right?
Yeah.
I think in the 70s, I think they were everywhere. Big town, small town, I think there were operations everywhere, coast to coast.
A lot of stories about it, obviously, and there isn't a single one that I won't stop and watch the entirety of.
Yeah.
So fascinated by the way the game was played, of life, in the way that it was. You know, I'm from Plum, and we were talking about this weekend. It might be just because the humans that were at this bachelor party for Nick, I mean, just so many.
Sure.
Just paisanos literally everywhere. We have to have the most dense Italian population outside of New York, New Jersey. I honestly has to be.
A lot of
Specifically
gabagool.
or Pittsburgh?
Just anywhere.
Pittsburgh was per capita up there for sure.
So
There's a lot in West Virginia. You know what happened? The area in West Virginia where my people are from, the area in Italy, southern Italy, when they moved over here, well, first of all, the steel mills and the coal mines were the attraction, right? Nobody here wanted to do those jobs, so let's bring the Italians over and send them underground and put them into the furnaces where they made the steel. But the climate here, the ground here, everything here reminded them a lot of where they lived in Italy, so they could work the ground, grow the crops they're used to. They just felt comfortable in this area.
That was good.
Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio area.
That's awesome. Well, I was very lucky to grow up in a very Italian place. It was kind of a culture shock when I came out to Indianapolis, Indiana. There ain't fucking one out here.
Fazzolini's.
No.
Other than the Fazzolini.
You're right.
Of course.
Fazoli's was here. Olive Garden was here. That made me feel like it was that. But other than that, nothing. I can't wait to read Father of Mine or listen to it at least. Doubt that I will sit down and turn the page. But I can't wait for you to become a New York Times bestseller with it, pal. Yet again. Congratulations. We appreciate you, Mike Florio.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Good talking to you.
Hey, you too. I mean, service broke out there a little bit. He's super Italian. Holy fuck.
Very.
Did we know this about Florio?
I feel like we did.
I didn't know he was super.
Not the that
connected though.
Not not that.
Yeah, remember he's the one who told us about Papa John being.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, 18 months.
I don't want to say the word. I don't know if I'm allowed to. It was. What's that?
I wouldn't.
You don't even know a word I'm going to say. Your brain doesn't remember that.
I had an idea.
It wasn't what you were thinking.
No, it is. It's 2 words actually, kind of.
Yeah,
It
put
is.
together.
Yep.
So you are saying I shouldn't. Okay, got it.
You can say it though.
I don't know.
You definitely.
Come on, Tony, say it.
DeJulia.
Yeah, say it.
Say it.
Don't say it. We don't need to become that.
not?
This is a very pro-Italian show. I think we have the most Italians of all time. Lombardi's joining us later.
Hell yeah.
Go.
Okay, so
We'll fucking go down to them coal mines and them steel mills.
hey, hell yeah.
Yeah, that was in one of the Rodgers books, Outliers, about how all the Italians went to that area because of like those jobs and because it reminded them.
Oh, here's the Italian population per cities. Look at the differences between New York, pretty big city, Philadelphia, original capital, pretty big city, Chicago, third largest city in America, Boston, Massachusetts,
It's horseshit, but
and then Pittsburgh's above Los Angeles. I mean,
Midwest,
so
baby.
many Italians.
yeah. I wonder what the Irish is in all those.
Yeah, I would assume
Hopefully
pretty high, right? Because
Yeah,
the
I
Irish
think.
were the same exact jobs.
Yes.
So like the same exact fashion, labor.
They just weren't. They just couldn't take advantage of everyone else like we could.
There was a massive swing in Chicago.
Hey, Hoffa did okay.
Yeah,
Where is he at?
Bulger did okay.
underneath the middle.
Yeah, I'd say both the Bulgers.
I mean, terrible. They did terrible. We want to let everybody know. They absolutely terrible. We were just talking strictly from a
Outside.
take advantage of every situation,
Started from nothing.
a mafia perspective. That was that existed.
Yeah, and Bulger took out all the Italians on his way.
Not today.
No, not
We didn't talk
today.
about that. Let's get to a break.
No, he didn't do it today.
Al
In the
Capone took
70s
out a
and
lot of
80s.
Irish guys.
Lot.
A lot of Irish guys.
Oh, I got an update for you guys.
On what?
Come in. It's percentage, so it's not apples to apples, but
Boom.
you get it.
Largest cities with the highest percentage of Irish ancestry. Boston, 22.8%.
How you
Pittsburgh, 16.2%.
Look at us. Hey, we should put our swords down a little
Italian
more.
and
huh?
Look at us,
We
huh?
could kind of be the
Yeah.
example.
We should come together.
My 23andMe said them both.
Me too.
Me
Had
too.
German in there. Your 23andMe, I think, lied, though. You took advantage of it way too much.
Nah, what do you mean?
I just bought a pinky ring immediately. You know,
Had to.
that's what I did. You started saying some. Remember the potato comments this guy was
Potato.
making?
He's tossed Mick around.
Yeah, he's
like it's
potato
just-
breath out there. Listen to him.
Let's get to
Smell
a
it
break.
from here.
Let's get positive. We need something positive to happen. Let's do that right now. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us via guest of Pac-Man Jones.
Okay.
Originally from out in the middle of fucking nowhere, Georgia.
Fucking nowhere.
Right?
Nowhere. Sticks.
I just wanted to, so people that are from there, you hear this video, that's how I was literally described where he was from. Went to Michigan State.
That's right.
Hell
Bold
yeah.
decision.
Dog.
Won the Thorpe Award, I do believe.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
Rose Bowl, you name it.
First round pick for the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Now I believe he's working in big time shit and also back in Michigan State.
Okay.
Plus Rodgers is here.
Here we go.
So all Darquez will have to do is, what are you going to go with? We gave him the opportunity that he could shoot an NBA three.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
10 people would win $500.
Pretty good.
You can shoot from the stage. 15 people would win $500.
Not bad.
Or you can do the Connor opposite free throw line shot, and 20 people will win $500. He was out here warming up 45, 50 minutes.
That's right.
Getting his shots up.
Talking a lot of shit.
So which one are you doing?
You're going from opposite free throw.
Free throw.
Wants 20 winners. All he's got is one shot, one opportunity. Out of Michigan State. Go green.
Go white.
Air ball.
Oh!
Damn.
We'll get another opportunity in the next hour. All right, AJ Hawk joins us on the other side, as does Jeremy Piven. R.E. Gold.
Wow.
Joining us, got another movie coming out. And then Michael Lombardi will join us in the third hour to break down everything potentially happening behind the scenes. It's all right, Dark White.
All right, Dark
We'll
White.
get him. We'll
Next
get him.
one.
It's all right.
Next shot, best shot.
All right, be a friend, tell a friend, take 5.
Fight.
Today has become a massive day in our program's history because just yesterday at about 5:15 p.m. I was sent a text that said, hey, I think it's time. And I said, what do you mean you think it's time? I think it's time to let the world hear where we're at. And I said, Aaron, you let me know if you want me to let the world know about you coming on tomorrow. And he said, yeah, let's do it. I put a tweet out saying, hey, listen, you are cordially invited to Aaron Rodgers Wednesday, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just 56 minutes, 34 seconds away from right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers. What's up, dude?
Good afternoon. Good morning here. Good afternoon there.
There's a lot going on in your world, bro. I don't even know if you know this or if you've been so locked in.
This isn't a decision day. This isn't me deciding and announcing to the world that this is what's going on. In fact, that's already happened. You know, we're actually days past this. This is kind of clearing things up, I think, for everybody interested. And I'm going to get into this now, if you don't mind, Pat. I'm going to go for a little bit here.
Hey, go ahead. There's 430,000 people currently, so a lot more people watching than normal, and they are all interested because you're a fucking dog as a football player. So go ahead and do your thing, pal.
The timeline, which I think is important, that's why I'm going to go through it, is that in 2020, they drafted Jordan to replacement. There wasn't replacement right away, but as is the case with the Packers and kind of the way they do things, they like to get rid of players like a year early instead of a year late in their minds. There's probably some people who believe that I was a descending player and that it was time to make a change. Everything that I was told in the week that I was in Green Bay was, take as long as you want. We want you to retire a Packer. If you want to come back and play, obviously the door is wide open. When I came out of the darkness, something changed. I'm not exactly sure what that was, but something changed. I got back to my phone after 5 days off of it. I realized that there'd been a little bit of a shift. I heard from multiple people that I trust around the league, players mostly, that there was some shopping going on. They were interested in actually moving me. And at this point, you know, I got to admit, I went in the darkness, 90% retiring, 10% playing. My mind was, I'm tired of this. I hadn't got back into my workouts yet, and I thought that that was what was best for me. So I went in the darkness to contemplate a lot of different things, but one day I spent entirely on the reality I was retired, and one day I spent entirely on the reality that I was coming back and playing. When I came out, it was clear to me at that point that although the Packers were going to say the right thing publicly, that they were ready to move on. I don't know what changed that or what moved that. If they just said, hey, we need to make a decision here because he hasn't made a decision yet. Again, there's no victims here. I'm not sitting here as a victim. I love Green Bay. I love the fan base. They're incredible. I live for playing for them. A lot of love for the organization. I just think I wish that in the beginning of the offseason, that had been the conversation. This is a credible profession, but it's a tough business.
You've said that
And
for
I
a
think
long time.
Some of these issues were things I was talking about 2 years ago. It was, how do we treat older players on the way out? And it's ironic that now I'm that player, but I think that's the beauty in life, is the sense of humor that the universe has. No malice, no bitterness towards Packers. So I've shifted my focus to entertaining what the plane would look like. The Packers granted, obviously, permission for the Jets to come out and visit. We had a nice visit. At this point, as I sit here, I think since Friday, I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Okay.
I haven't been holding anything up at this point. It's been compensation that the Packers are trying to get for me, kind of digging their heels in. So I would just, I think it is interesting at this point to step back and look at the whole picture. My side, love and appreciation, gratitude for everything that Green Bay has done for me. Love, so much love and gratitude, and just heart open for the Packer fans. And what it's meant to be their quarterback. And also the reality of the situation. Like, it is what it is. Packers would like to move on. They've let me know that in so many words. Because I still have that fire, and I want to play, and I would like to play in New York. It's just a matter of getting that done at this point.
Okay, people in New York are doing this right now. People in New York are pumped right now. You sent a list of demands. Need you to sign Lazard. You need to sign Randall Cobb. I want Jordy Nelson out of the fucking ranch. Did that all happen?
It's so ridiculous.
Hey, that's happening, though. Like, you need to know.
Ask Schefter what I texted him when he somehow got my number and texted me. I didn't respond to Diana Rossini, I think her name is. I would say the same thing that I told Schefter. Lose my number. Nice try.
Schefter tweeted the photo. He said, Aaron did not lie. There it is. That's confirming. Lose my number. Good try, though.
I'll speak for myself. I'm sure there'll be people that have their sources. From what I've seen, it's like I had a sheet of paper when I met with the Jets and I said, sign these people. And that's not the reality. It's so stupid to think that I would do it, number one. Now, did they ask me about certain guys that I played with over years? Of course. Did I talk glowingly about teammates that I love? Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Sue me, don't actually.
Like, my only demand is for transparency. And if you say some bullshit, sometimes it's not even worth it. But like I said, when something gets out there and then assumed to be true, then it can take on a life of its own. It can go from, oh, there was a conversation about 20 different players to, oh, he wants these guys to be signed, otherwise he doesn't want to come. It's like, come on, what are we talking about?
Yeah, it's all in the delivery of the information.
And I'm just really, really thankful. I got to be the starting quarterback of the Packers for 15 years. I got to be in an organization for 18 years. 18 years, that's a teenager. That's becoming an adult. And that's what I did there. And it was because of the people I met there and the places I went and the times that I had. I love you, Green Bay. Thank you. And I'm as sad as some of you are, but we'll meet again.
Massive show yesterday. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
And that says that the peak concurrence for 496, 285, but I've seen a lot of photos from people that are 498.
Wow.
Nonetheless, felt like afterwards, looking back on it, everybody was hanging out with us yesterday. Obviously not because of us. We know that. But Aaron, what a dog, dude.
Hey,
What?
let's go!
This show fucking stinks. And the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it. AJ, never cease to amaze me with your toxicity, pal.
You got a couple of these?
God damn it! What the fuck are you doing?
Boston
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome. On this Wednesday, March 29, 2023, Hour 2 shall start now.
What?
We're talking about is all the things happening around the sports universe. We can't thank you enough for joining us here. And shout out to SeatGeek for having that ticker down there. They're the absolute greatest. And shout out to the boys at the Toxic Table, at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn, Cowboys Tone Diggs, 14-year NFL corner and icon Pac-Man Jones.
Pac-Man.
And joining us live from Manatee, Ohio, is a college football national champion, a Super Bowl champion, a Ryder Cup champion, a video game community not even a pundit.
No.
Just a shit-stern guy.
Just gets in there.
Now, for the NBA, he's a pundit, obviously, on opening night. He was the lead of that whole thing with his jawline that Shaquille O'Neal called sexy. He is an Ohio fuck and a COVID survivor. Ladies and gentlemen, father of 10, AJ Hawk. How you doing, Mr. Hawk?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing? How was Florio? I caught a little bit.
Hey, Florio was a good conversation. We haven't chatted with him in a long time. You know, a lot is going on.
I like that he said when you asked him if they're going to do a test on the fields over in Europe or Germany, and he said, I don't think the NFL wants to do any tests where they don't want to know the results.
Yeah, well, the answer is yeah. He even gave a Chet thing, and then we found out he's fucking mobbed up, dude. He has ties. He has actual mob ties. His dad
wrote a book on it. Was his dad legit involved?
Yeah, he was a bookie for the crew, you know, and he started out with the knowledge that he gained through his father and everything they were doing in Wheeling. In Wheeling, I've been to a casino a few times.
Okay.
I've won a few times.
Here we go.
We've had a couple beers at a couple bars there a couple times.
Like it was fun.
I've done the Wheeling a few times. Not a bad drive from Morgantown, where West Virginia University is, and also not a bad drive from Pittsburgh. It is right in the middle of Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia here.
It's right there.
Right there. So
great meetup spot for everybody?
No, just when I was driving back to Pittsburgh, it was like,
I
I have an hour left. I'm driving directly through Wheeling. Okay, I'm stopping at the casino, putting 1,000 on black, and I'm seeing if this is going to be a better weekend or not. And then literally win that one round, go straight to the cashier. I will see you later. I'm back on the road. Lose it. Well, this weekend's going to suck. And then leave and then head back to Pittsburgh. I did not know Florio was tied in to the mob there. And then he wrote a book about all the information he has, but it is fiction.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's a fiction book, though.
But inspired by reality.
Isn't everything?
Amen.
That's why we have to...
Like any movie, right? Oh, it's inspired by true events. Like that's all a movie has to say. Like, oh, it's a documentary.
But they get me, though. Like,
oh, yeah.
I'm not going to like the movie. If it couldn't be real, I'm probably not going to like it. My brain isn't good enough to dive into all the other shit. That's why I like Avatar so much.
That's right.
You know?
That is
by true events, yeah.
Right, AJ?
It's on Apple TV now. I thought about making the purchase and trying to,
is it?
Maybe watch a little bit of it, but yeah, it's overwhelming to think of to start a 3 hour and 30-minute movie.
Bro, I'm going to finish the movie. I got an hour and 20 left.
You know what you're doing.
I got an hour and 20 left. I'm watching the third episode. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
How about it?
Look, we even got the poster from going before it was released. I had to walk out of the theater that evening. We had some stuff going on the next day.
Huge poster. Jeez. We're going to put that. Is that a poster or is that an 8x10? 8x10?
Oh, they gave us hats.
All right, let's talk about some stuff going on around the NFL. You heard we hate Tom Pelissero after loving Tom Pelissero more than we've ever loved Tom Pelissero. Now we hate him more than we've ever had to hate him, and I don't like that at all. I think the arrow is trending upwards for the arrow, Tom Pelissero. But last night he had an opportunity to ask Roger Goodell a question and fires a shot off at kickers. What's that all about, AJ?
I mean, you're not going to want to hear it, but I mean, I think it was a valid question to Raj. Now, maybe he worded it or
bitch.
But it's a valid question because what do they care about? Making money. So he's saying, do you want to see Patrick Mahomes end a game or do you want to see a kicker end a game? That's all he asked.
No, but it was the way he said it.
Tone matters. Tone does matter.
Yeah, delivery matters. That's what I've been saying for everybody that's just been writing out our quotes and suing us.
He made it like kickers, he made it sound like it was, or do we want kickers to end the game? I'm like, you don't have to say it that way, but I understand the question.
Well, I understand the question as well, because as somebody who enjoyed the onside kick, I think we tied the record for the most successful onside kicks in a season. A lot of them. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was sweet. And it busts out a little soccer skill that, some guys have, some guys don't have. But it has become just a routine bullshit end of the game. Like, that's a bad play to watch, too, to end the game, because it's just like kind of a, they talk about the tush push not being fun football, it being like rugby. The onside kick is just a mauling, no chance of it ever happening. Especially nowadays, I don't think kickers work on much because they think the rules are just basically inhibiting them from having any success. So I understand why he asked the question. What the hell, AJ?
That's the difference.
Yeah. Words are weapons.
Tell me how. Okay, Diggs. Can you tell me how he should have asked the question, Diggs? Please.
Mr. Roger.
Okay.
Goodall.
Good start.
It's a good way to start it, yeah. Because the House Oversight Committee said, Mr. Goodall.
Right. What if Mr. Rogers walked out, though?
Mr. Roger.
Like Aaron Rodgers or the actual Mr. Rogers?
Mr. Rogers.
Is that neighborhood?
In the neighborhood.
Where's he from?
Oh.
I think he is
Pittsburgh.
But he's by way of Boston.
Is that right? He's from Pittsburgh?
I think it's Turtle Creek.
Oh, he's from Pittsburgh? Crazy. Everyone would have thought.
fairly
Mr. Roger,
correct.
greatest guy of all time from Pittsburgh. Shout out, Pac-Man.
Mr. Roger, congratulations and great job with everything you do. How come a stupid team would do this stupid thing and propose a stupid rule?
Smart.
Try to take the foot out of a great game.
That's right. That's a great question there. You hear what he did? That was a smart question, guy.
Yeah, but it not really. You didn't really say anything. How does Raj answer that? You didn't really direct it.
Well, I think Raj says, to your point, we're trying to keep the foot in the game. He actually said that as his answer last night, too, Tom Pelissero. So I'm happy that Roger Goodell took that moment to kind of look at Tom Pelissero and say, hey, pal, punditry not needed. You're an insider. Okay? The way you delivered that, let's go ahead and relax. I love Tom. He's playing the guitar.
Yes.
His hair looked cool.
His cool Christmas sweaters.
He was playing the guitar at the presser.
Yeah,
he thought
He should have. There was moments there where I thought nobody was going to ask a question. Roger Goodell standing at the press conference, and you know how they have to normally like shoo somebody out of there. Like, does anybody have a question? It was like quiet for a bit, and then Sal Capaccio, Buffalo brother.
Obviously.
You know, he came in, asked a question.
Leader.
Ian Rappaport, no questions. I was texting him. I'm like, yo, ask about Europe, bro. Ask about
What'd he say?
anything.
He would be the star. I figured Ian would be the star of that press conference. Like Ariel Helwani back in the day. Remember, he used to take over UFC pressers because he and Dana's little.
You think Raj walks off the stage, where he's known to be, walk off the stage and say, oh, that was a bad question, fire that guy?
Well, that was actually asked to him during the press conference because get the name right, Pat. It was literally just last night. Somebody we know.
Oh.
Somebody we know. A name we know. Somebody got fired from
Mike Giardi?
No.
Jim Trotter?
Yeah,
Jim Trotter. There it is. Jim Trotter got fired from NFL media or whatever.
Yep.
And the question was asked that there is some speculation that he was maybe fired because he went after you a little bit whenever you guys were talking about diversity and inclusion and everything like that. And Roger Goodell said, I actually just learned he was fired moments ago. I was not a part of that whole thing. And then we went to the next question.
Yep.
It was like, we're clicking in.
You believe him? You believe him?
He's my commissioner.
Our commissioner?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm saying you act like you don't believe him.
Can't say that. He's
I believe him. Raj is running the NFL. He didn't have time to sit there and try to figure out each and every person and what they're doing.
He is the boss at NFL Network, though. Pac, what are your thoughts?
I don't think he knew that he got fired.
I don't think so either. No. I think there's a chance, though, that the person that decided to fire him thought this is a good firing because of what happened.
Yeah. Right.
So then Raj is immediately getting linked to it. I would think, because this dude's trying to negotiate like hundreds of billions of dollars of deals, and he's got to be working, I assume. A lot of this, I assume, in Raj's life, you think?
That's everything. It's all about relationships, for sure. But they all want to get to him. That's the thing. Like, these billionaires want to get in with Raj because if they can get in with an NFL team, it's a gold mine.
He is like the gatekeeper, it feels like, for all these billionaires that want to go. Like the report about the Commanders and, Harris and Sales being the only group that has been like approved who's a serious contender is probably because Rodgers like, I like them too. I don't like the rest of these.
No, you got it all wrong.
I'm just
you got to remember, amongst the owners, Roger Goodell works for them.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You know what I mean? So that's how they view it. I think his life is a fascinating one of balancing, like, hey, I am the voice of the most powerful league in the world.
Yeah.
Versus, like, in this room, like, some of these people probably don't even want me here, Yeah. Like, there's probably some owners that do not want Roger Goodell to be there. And then there's others that care about money, and they're like,
what are you talking about?
They just negotiated a $110 billion deal. Mm-hmm. Like, what are we doing? He has made some tough decisions, some difficult decisions. You get a chance to ask him a question, though, Pac. You got to do it. Do you know Roger Goodell at all?
Yes, I do. Of course I do.
How do you know him?
I've met with him 100 times.
Okay, so what is that like? And how to? Because I don't think a lot of people would do that. Honestly, I don't think that happens that often.
The setting at first wasn't as good as it is now, but yeah, it's a good setting.
So do you go to his office? How does it work out?
Yeah, New York. It's the only way you're gonna meet him. New York or you're there on the golf course.
How's his office? Sick?
It's sick. Oh my God, the view is sick. It's double sided. It's probably good 3,000 square feet.
In New York?
Office in New York, yeah.
Does he have like a living room area?
Living room. Nice.
Does he have a shower?
Fireplace?
Nice. I'm quite sure he got a shower.
Has to have a shower. He's getting a workout. You saw him run that 40 down the hallway.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, dude?
Work off the peanut M&Ms.
What do you think he's doing?
Yeah. You're right. I forgot about his 40 in the hallway. You're
in the hallway. He was
rolling.
I mean, we're talking knee drive, arm swing.
Big time.
Straight out of there. So whenever you meet with him, you get assistant there, greets you.
Yeah.
And then he gets sent into another line, or you go right into him.
It's like a couple layers you got to go through. You go downstairs, you got to get your thing. They take you up to the floor, then they come get you from there, all the trophies and all of this and all of that. Then they stop you right here. Then he come right there. Then you wait out here. Then you go in his office. Then
Draft day hug?
Yeah,
Is it a hug?
It's a layer now.
What is it? Dap? Handshake?
Oh, dap. Hand, like,
Peanut M&Ms?
Yeah.
Going in. You're trying to set the tone a little bit.
Oh, no. The tone is already set.
You know the deal.
Yeah.
Have you talked to
already
him?
set the tone.
Have you talked to him since retirement?
Yeah, I have. I've talked to him a couple of times since retirement.
The only time I've ever talked to him is draft night, side stage. He looks at me and goes, "You're wearing this?" I had jeans on.
Oh, yeah.
I had jeans on.
The announcement.
Air Forces on. I think just a plain. No, I bought a button down that day on
Day
Broadway.
of, yeah.
I was going to wear a tank top. I was going
Yep.
to do a tank top, but then I saw how everybody else was dressed, and I was like, oh.
Maybe not.
All right, going to have to wear a button down here, it feels like. And that was what he said. Big dap up, hug. You're wearing this? As a joke, I think he made it. And I said, yes, sir. And then I went out and saw a 30-yard by 30-yard picture of my fucking face. And I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, whoa. Look at that guy. Look at that fucking high guy up there. What is he talking about? And then I would go on to pronounce the guy's name wrong.
Well,
you were.
You remember that?
Yeah.
I would go in there and pronounce the guy's name wrong.
You were saying what you were
No one
given
remembers that.
phonetically.
Became a story. Everybody remembers that. Every time he plays, he's like come out and said, my name is actually pronounced Okereke.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, anytime he comes on, I still see tweets from people. They're like, oh, there's Okoriki. Like I made such an emphasis on it. But he decided to change it, I believe, after then.
He did.
Okay.
So I feel like a terrible person. I'm kind of a part of a lot of conversation that's probably taking place behind closed doors.
Yeah, but I thought Mitt said that his dad told him it was Okereke.
Well, I thought it was Okereke.
That it was different from both of them.
Okereke in college. I did a college game. We called him Okereke.
Well, you're wrong too. You're a part of the problem too.
That's the fucking
I am part of the problem.
Yeah. And don't forget also you exited stage and tried to Bud Light. That was what, 20 ounces?
With Shane Leckler. That was awesome. Fucking love that man. All right, let's talk about some other stuff going on around the NFL. League meetings seem to be a gathering point. Jay Glazer just put out a tweet that he loves spending 5 days out there, bouncing around from day drinking session to day drinking session and dinner to dinner. Got the inside scoop on a lot of stuff. That seems like that is what the league meetings is. It's almost like a warmer climate combine.
Yep.
A lot of media people were there. A lot of agents were down there. Odell Beckham Jr. took a trip out there, which I think is absolutely genius, AJ. Then there was obviously captured on tape him dapping up Stefanski immediately upon getting there. A lot of people were saying, bad look for Baker. These two like each other. And then they kind of kept him moving. He also big hug with Bob Saleh. And the Jets are allegedly in on the conversation. You see the back of the commercial fridge, Joe Douglas's head right there. He obviously was at the meeting as well. This was a smart play by OBJ to go to the place where all the teams are that he would potentially want to meet with. Brilliant. I love it. I hope there's a lot of deals that come from this. I hope OBJ is one of them, AJ.
Yeah, all it takes is one, right? Just one GM, owner, coach at that thing to look at and be like, you know what? We need to – maybe I haven't given it a whole lot of thought of bringing Odell in, but that dude looked pretty good, and I had a good little interaction with him. Let's try to work something out. So it's absolutely smart.
He looked really cool. He had these green pants that are kind of like bell bottoms almost.
Yeah,
I think
you can say that.
It's like a new it's the old fashioned kind of evolved a little bit to become a newer fashion. I actually like it. I'm excited for it because my calves eat up most jeans. Sure. I believe the bell bottom look is coming back. OBJ looks super cool. Looked incredibly healthy. What do you think about OBJ, his chances, and how smart of it? This is like Derek Carr. Derek Carr came to Indianapolis, rented an Airbnb near the stadium for the Combine Week, met with a bunch of teams, signs with the Saints after that. Yep. And I don't know if that was the reason they had met one time before, but he at least gave the opportunity of all the important people to come say hello. OBJ doing this, I think, is brilliant, Adam.
I think it's brilliant, too, and you can tell you have a good agent. That's what I think Lamar should have been. Lamar should have been down there, you know what I mean, touching hands, making people know, like, hey, yo, I'm serious about this, because he don't have a fucking agent.
Yeah.
So who's going to do it?
Yeah.
If he had an agent, guess what? I'm quite sure he'll be there. Any of these guys that got really good agents that's on the cluff of trying to make something work, this is the perfect meeting to be at.
AJ, I don't think we knew that this many people went to the league meetings until like last year, but it seems like there's a lot of shit happening like the Combine Week.
It seems like it's growing. Like we've seen the Combine grow over the years. Is the league meeting growing as far as like the media that goes and how much attention it gets.
We need to be there.
Yeah, we should have been down
Sounds
there.
like
I think we
should've
said
set
this
up.
last year that we were supposed
We were
to
already
send
there. We
someone
could just stay there.
down there.
We were there before everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we ever learn? We do.
Yeah,
we learn
do.
some things.
We do.
But this time we didn't remember. Normally we're good at that, aren't we?
Let me write that down.
Yes. Somebody.
Next year we'll remember too, because since the are the league meetings in Arizona every year?
I think you're definitely warm climate.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll be in
flipped
Vegas.
in
We'll be
Florida.
right next to there for the Super Bowl.
What part of Florida? What part of
I
Florida?
forget what part it's in, but they have them in Florida too.
Hollywood. West
They're saying at the
Palm.
Biltmore. That's the
Nice hotel.
right. I mean, Best Western reached out to Kaboli last night.
Yes,
That's
they
right.
did.
Did you see that, AJ?
No, did they?
Yeah.
Fix his toilet?
No, I don't know. Best Western, the social media account that had a gold check mark next to Best Western, I don't think they were looking to fix the toilet. I think they were looking to upgrade
Yeah.
old Kaboli.
That's right.
After he told that tale of his butt touching ceramic.
Yep. Touching the marble.
The thing, can you imagine the seat? Like if he thought it was okay and he sat down, he has like the super hard jolt to the left or something.
Oh my
Can you
God.
imagine him?
Slides in.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Ooh.
cold.
Yep.
So cold.
Oh.
Oh, wait, that's a different feel. Oh, no, and I'm sideways in this thing.
Yep. Soak his underwear.
Dude, his ass was doing like the, oh, yeah, definitely
Yeah.
touches in there.
Yeah.
His ass was doing like a wheelie almost.
Yeah.
You know, with that toilet. Left cheek up, right cheek all the way down. And then Best Western tweeted him and said, hey, let's get this figured
Can't
out.
have this happen. Let's get you a continental breakfast coupon for tomorrow morning. And let's get you out of that twin bed that you're in and get you into a king.
That's not where the league meetings are, though. Maybe Best Western keeps tweeting good stuff. Maybe they'll get the league meetings next time. Biltmore sounds like a nice place, though.
Well,
Sounds unreal.
like Kaboli said, year's salary, he might be able to stay there for a week and kind of enjoy the amenities of that place.
Tone Diggs has an update.
Last year's annual league meeting was at the Breakers Resort in Palm Beach, Florida. 2024 has not been announced yet.
Palm Beach.
Palm Beach.
What's
Is that
going on?
Mar-a-Lago?
AJ, why would you say that?
Wait, what? For some
Isn't that
reason,
where
that
it
sounds
is?
familiar. Why is that familiar?
You know.
That's where Jeffrey Epstein did a lot of his work.
Who?
How'd you know
You've heard
that?
of him, I think, right?
I have heard of him, only from you. Shoehorning him in every
Did
single
somebody
show.
buy his house, you think? I know
All
he
right.
had a house down there.
Let's
I thought
move
you
on.
did. Or did
Let's
you
move
tear it
on.
down?
Did you buy his island or submarine? You tell me. Did you? You were first. You were
You
first
got a
round
big
pick.
bank account, pal. I think you're right.
Nah,
first
you
in
were.
line for that house.
You were number 5 overall pick.
Yeah.
Old CBA, dude.
Stop lying,
Yeah, inflation.
AJ.
You know inflation.
It's crazy. Yeah, Colts got me.
Yeah, that flood in your basement.
Ladies and gentlemen, in theaters on April 14th, there's a movie coming to the big screen, silver screen.
Yeah, you could say that. Silver
Silver
screen,
screen.
big
Both
screen.
big silver screen.
Big silver screen that is going to capture the hearts of fucking everybody. It's called Sweetwater. It's about Hall of Famer Nat Sweetwater Clifton as he makes history as the first African American to sign an NBA contract, forever changing how the game of basketball is played. Guess who's playing the fucking coach in that one?
Who's that?
Sir.
Ari Gold. Ladies and gentlemen,
Ari.
Jeremy Piven. Sir, how are you?
What's up, fellas?
Hey, just quick. Thank you for your services, Ari. Every time we talk, I have to tell you that. Got me and the boys through a lot of years. We appreciate you, sir.
Thank you, Ari.
Listen, Pat, I came to your show before you blew up. I've loved you before everyone loved you. I just want you to remember that.
Well, I've loved you as everybody on earth loved you. So I appreciate we do have requited. No, is that a word?
Huh?
Unrequited love for each other.
Boom, there it is. Yeah, I believe it's incredible. Let's talk about this next movie here that you got coming out on April 14th. You're playing a coach. Are we getting motivational speeches here now? Are we getting, what type of Jeremy Piven's coming through here? And what type of fiery character do we have here?
He is a fiery character. He is a coach. All actors are frustrated athletes. That's a fact. So I've been a sports fan my whole life. I know the game. I really know the game well. Coach Joe Lapchick was a guy that went and poached Sweetwater Clifton from the Harlem Globetrotters and broke the color barrier. So when I read this character, I thought, my God, I get to play this guy. It was a real gift. And he was passionate about change, and I love it. And we got a guy named Everett Osborne, who was a pro player overseas, and he plays Nat Sweetwater Clifton. And this kid is a superstar. he crushed it, and it was an honor to be a part of it.
Basketball, what was the
Bo Cruz.
Bo Cruz, and then also old buddy from Minnesota,
Anthony Edwards.
These basketball guys have crushed it in movie roles. I'm excited to see old cuz. Go ahead, AJ.
Jeremy, did you I know you do a lot of research and stuff going into your parts. Did you follow any coaches around or talk to them? I know you have relationships with a lot of athletes and coaches. Did you model your behavior after somebody?
Lapchick was one of those guys. Well, first of all, as soon as you put the suit on, a suit from 1950 is going to fit you differently. So, and by the way, these guys wore suits in practice. You know what I mean? Like they were never not suited up. I had a great conversation, and I'm not making this up, with the great Phil Jackson. And being a Chicago boy, I'm very connected to those guys and to Phil. And I asked him many questions, and he was very open and honest with me. Doc Rivers was pretty cool with me. And, our guy, Jay Will, who wasn't a coach, great player. But, a lot of guys they saw that I respected the game. And so they taught me a lot.
All right, I hope Sweetwater absolutely crushes it. We're thankful for it. You are a Chicago boy. Aaron Rodgers is out of the division, pal. How pumped are you about the Chicago Bears? Maybe, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe being relevant in the NFC North.
Let's go.
Huh, Jeremy?
Listen, I would talk to linebackers that would just say that Aaron would laugh during the games. And it scared the shit out of him. And it was freakish. You know what I mean? And I bless him. He went into a hole. He got some clarity. I love his journey. I personally, I'm on a very similar journey. And I listen, I'm glad that we don't have to face him anymore. I got to be honest with you.
You take ayahuasca? You've done the ayahuasca?
The toad, actually. Which
yeah. I heard that's an immediate, right? That one's a lot quicker acting, I've heard.
Yeah, that's like being shot out of a cannon with DMT.
Okay, yeah, I heard about this. How was it? Good experience. How often?
I'm on it right now, Pat. I'm peaking, and so I probably have another 20 seconds left in me, brother, and then it's a wrap.
That's amazing to hear. I'm always fascinated by that though, because I think for Aaron, like if you were to ask him, I would assume he believes that ayahuasca helped him immensely from his mindset, his life, his happiness, everything, motivation, and it changed his life. And then you talk to Rob Parsons, who is the founder of PXG and GoDaddy. He was a Vietnam vet, and he did a cycle where they gave him like mushrooms, LSD, then a day off where he was putting perfect, and I think ayahuasca at the end or some form of that. And he said that was the first time he felt like a normal human being again since Vietnam. He said, I came back in whatever year it was, and it took me like 45 years or 38 years to actually come back from the hallucinogens and everything like that. So there's people that like swear by it, So I'm happy to hear that you're diving into it as well. I did not know that.
Well, I mean, we're only human, and we can be a slave to our mind and to the circus that is going on up there. And I think one of the things it does is gives you some perspective on this life and the things that you hold so dear and are so important. It kind of gives you a perspective on how unimportant they are and the totality of this life. It's heavy. I'm sure your boy Aaron has broken this down to you before.
That's where I learned about the toad. Yeah, that's where I heard about the toad. It's like a humbling experience almost. It's like it's a perspective-changing, life-altering type of thing, right?
Well, the toad, secretes something that, it's a protective mechanism that if you're trying to kill it, that secretion will kill you. And they take it and crystallize it, and then you take it so your body thinks that you're dying. So you have the perspective of death. I don't mean to get so heavy with you guys.
Holy, your life flashes in front of your eyes. So that's that's that whole thing. So I'm never doing this, but it does make a little bit more sense. It does make a little bit more sense for sure. So you did that?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you feel like you was dying?
You definitely get that sense of what it feels like, indeed, and the perspective of how finite this life is, and you do come out of it a different person. You really do.
Did you go 2.7 seconds on a bull named Fu Manchu? You went skydiving. I went Rocky Mountain climbing. I went 2.7 seconds on a bull named Fu Manchu. And I loved deeper, and I spoke sweeter, and I gave forgiveness I've been denying. That's Live Like You Were Dying. That's that song.
Good song.
That's how he wrote it, probably.
Ty has a question for you, Jeremy. Probably.
Jeremy, when you're going to look at like your next projects, now like with the landscape of TV and movies, it feels like TV has kind of been elevated, and there's kind of like there's not as much of a distinction as there used to be. Do you have like any trepidation about potentially going back and doing another TV show when you spent so much time on Entourage? Like, does that worry you at all? Do you not care? Is it ultimately just the material that only matters? Or how do you decide, like, if you're going to dive back into something like that where you know it could be a multiple year, experience as opposed to just shooting a movie and being done with it?
Excellent question. Because, you notice from the pandemic that we can, all these TV shows are so accessible to people, and that all the the great players are working in these different lanes. So the variable is the material, and if you're lucky enough to work with great people, then you work with them for a number of years. So it has been a bit harder to get people into the theaters, but I think movies like Maverick kind of busted through all that, and suddenly it's making billions of dollars. And they want to go out into space with Tom Cruise.
Thank you, Tom.
Hey, I watched that in one of those theaters that have like the massage seats and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I felt like I was in the bird with them
Yeah.
a couple different times as we were doing that fucking mission. It was incredible to be there. I'm assuming I'm going to feel the same thing when I watch Sweetwater with you casted as Coach Joe Lapchick, available in theaters on April 14th. We appreciate the hell out of you, Jeremy.
Thank you, guys. I'm proud of all you guys. I watch all the time. And Pat, don't be afraid of the toad.
All right.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate you, man. There'll come a time in my life where I'm like, the toad is calling. And when it is, I will do it and I will let you know. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeremy Piven. They were telling him to get out, I guess. They had
Really?
I believe they're doing a couple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't want you
Got
guys
a
to think.
junket where he's got third government in a row.
I assume that all the other ones are going to sky in the middle of it. We took 15 seconds.
I was going to ask him, hey, were you worried about the film industry during the pandemic? If one film maybe did save it, which would it be? And he answered.
Oh, so he knew to play the hits.
Yeah.
He knew the deal.
Has he ever worked with Tom?
What's that?
Sorry. Has he ever worked with Tom Cruise? Do we know?
That would have been a great
I think he
follow-up.
was Tom's. No, that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, not Stuntman.
No. He was Tom's agent and something.
No, that was
Mission
Vinny.
Impossible.
That was Vinny
Chase.
Chase.
You watch Entourage, Pack?
Yes, of course I do, bro.
What a fucking show. it
Yeah.
was,
What a
dude.
show.
It was so awesome.
Yeah, growing up, I mean to say, like when I first came out, I was like, yeah, that's our fucking crew right
Bingo. That's kind of, it shaped a lot of people. I don't know if all the episodes hold up. You watch them back. I don't know if they all hold up. And obviously the movie that came out was certainly something, but man, what a run. Ari,
Have you
Gold-
ever Googled the real Ari Emanuel before?
So there's
Funny enough.
interesting. Never met Ari Emanuel, but I did meet
Emmanuel?
no
the other guy.
Jeff Jacobs.
Yeah, right.
Jeff Jacobs, there it is.
Who allegedly the writer, who's I think Mark Wahlberg in Boys, kind of mixed those two as one character. But I'll tell you what, had a lot of people that didn't live in Hollywood believe like that's what an agent looks like. Shooting people with paintball guns.
Yep. David.
What a show. You guys watch in Ohio, I assume. That seems like an Ohio fuck show for sure.
Of course, yeah. I watched. Yeah, you could still. I don't know. Does it hold up if you go back?
I don't know. There's some. I saw some scenes.
I'll say this.
that hit the internet, and I was like, I probably would have enjoyed that, but I wasn't fully submerged in the story. You know what I mean?
I watched it for the first time a couple years ago, and yes, there's definitely some corny episodes, but I absolutely
Besides
loved it.
Piven, I'm not. I feel like
You okay?
The
Johnny Drama carries it.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Besides those two, I'm not sure the acting holds up.
What are you saying? Vinny Chase was a professional actor for the show and in the show.
Let's
Tony
just say
hates E.
Vinny Chase ain't getting a fucking lead in a Martin Scorsese movie ever.
I could have said it that way.
He got Spider-Man.
Bro, he was a bro.
Aquaman.
I could have said it that way.
How about that wedding? He was married so quick.
He was.
Got out of there, though,
He
quick.
did, had to.
How about him on that island? Oh, what a good time
God.
on that boat.
Yep.
They couldn't get a hold of him.
They couldn't.
Jeez
Turtle.
Louise.
I thought Scorsese directed the Entourage movie.
Could have.
I believe it was Michael Bay.
Tone, you're not an Entourage fan?
No, I love Entourage.
Tony just wanted to bury all the acting in that show because
Except for two.
drama was amazing.
Yeah, top tier.
Did he actually have to get out, or were they like, he's talking about the fucking toad? We got to get him out. Is that what happened?
Oh, I don't know. Interesting.
It looked like it was kicking in.
I don't know if
He said it.
If he was on a toad, which the poison from the toad, while doing a media junket, like
That's legendary.
Sweetwater's going to be a good one.
yeah.
There's a chance Sweetwater's going to be a good one. Hey, I heard about that from some mutual friend of ours.
Yeah, Mike Tyson talks about it too.
The toad?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Tyson, big mushrooms.
Who was the first person to come up to figure it out though?
Who in the fuck want to take something that's gonna make you feel like you're about to die?
He lost me at that part where he said it tricks your body into thinking you're going to die.
That was not how it was originally described to me, though. So, like, I don't know if that's how he took
scared
it.
me off the building.
Were you
peeling back
told
the
a false
veil?
feel good?
So what you got is the Mio kind of goes down through the bone up to the 2 squared.
Yes.
And that's when that shit really starts to pop into your Edo and then your OE just banana time. Yeah, exactly. Shots, explosive.
To Backman's point, isn't the ayahuasca 2 plants that are hundreds of miles away from each other that have to be mixed together? So, like, how do they figure out how
Similar
this
to
stuff?
the pufferfish?
I would assume what happened is one person found their particular plant leaf, and then they didn't talk to the other people for so long. Hate those people.
Okay.
They tried to take our land. Then there was like a Romeo and Juliet thing that kind
Right.
of happened.
Oh.
Like a Montague Capulet thing.
Wow.
Kind of happened.
Good pull.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
And when they brought everybody together, they said, "Oh, we got some shit too." And they said, "Oh, we got some shit."
Look
And
at
that was just even more so of the celebration.
Okay.
When he put it in the pot, twisted it all up. What do you got? You know what I mean?
dude.
Boom. Exactly. So one person took a rib
Okay.
and became one. They took their plant.
Smart.
It became one.
That's what they did, AJ. Sorry about it.
I thought you took your rib to become 2.
Now, don't eat the apple.
No, that's when to become one. A lot of singing today.
A lot of singing.
You got a problem with AJ?
Piven's doing stand-up all over the place. He was I think he was so confused as you guys kept going with the song. I was a bit confused for a while.
I don't think he knew. So as we're singing it, I'm looking at his face to see if he knows what that song is.
He did not.
So we had to go far enough to get to a point.
Get the rhythm.
He only knows Tim McGraw as a really good actor.
We had to get to the point. Exactly.
He did not grow up where the green grass grows.
Yeah,
He did. Never watched his corn pop
He
up in the
only know
rows.
the M, the E, the pim, 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 the N, the O, whatever the hell.
The OET you're talking about?
Yeah,
there it is.
All right, you can call us on the 5 Energy phone line, 1-833-432-3663. I believe there's a chance for a... Okay, never mind.
No.
Literally, as I was about to say it, Zeta goes, nope. All right. So we might have a surprise guest today. We do know that we have Lombardi in the 3rd hour, though, which I'm very, very excited for. He always has such a big brain. Another Paisan, a lot of Paisans on this particular program, Wednesday, March 29th. But I think there's no better time than now to give Darquez Denard another shot.
Okay.
Let's go.
Here we go. We all know
Darquez.
this man was the Thorpe Award winner. We all know he's out of Michigan State.
Of course.
Go Green.
I'm not saying it.
One of the greatest of all time at Michigan State.
Oh, he's already going.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh!
And he walks off?
Yes.
Holy shit. What was that? That was awesome. 20 people, $500 who retweet this video, say something nice to somebody, and put the best way to pay. What's that?
I need a 10-day.
He did say that earlier. I said, can you shoot? Can you shoot? We'll do a thing. He said, I'm going to get a 10-day. Second attempt. Does a layup, little warm up. Let's see the ball go through the hoop. Without us even noticing, banks that thing home. Missed a little short in the first try. Thorpe Award winner, first round draft pick corner. He makes the second time.
A little deeper.
Little athletic, I would say. What an incredible win. 20 people, $500. Retweet this video, say something nice to somebody, and put the most efficient way to pay you, whether it's Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, or any of the other ways to transaction. Hey, that was awesome.
That was clean.
We can't see you on any camera right now, but we fucking appreciate it, Dark West.
That was awesome.
All right, let's get to a break. On the other side, we'll have Michael Lombardi. We'll answer some phone calls on the 5-Energy phone line, 1-833-432-3663. Also, 1-833-4-DADOM. I thought I had a little toad in me there. I thought I was seeing things. I thought it said 1-888. I said, I've been getting this wrong the whole time.
Well, it transpired.
It's a handwrite. It's handwrite. You see the three, you put it close to each other.
Right, close it up.
1-833-432-3663. Dark West.
Let's go.
What an hour. All right, we'll be back on the other side. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. Take 5.
5.
We're talking hockey. Roldy and Rupp are talking hockey.
That was the first time I found out it was Mario Brothers. That's all. Growing up, like everybody called it Mario Bros. You know, that was just,
Once you're called the fucking king of New York, you didn't feel like you had to dress at a higher level.
What I love about New York is however you want to dress, however you want to, who you want to be, you just blend in, and it's so comfortable.
This is an organization in Arizona that wasn't paying their fucking bills earlier in the season.
Again, he's not trying to square off with Cats because no one.
Someone didn't pay the electric bill around
You
here.
fucking bum.
Where are you at? Away from the dungeon? What is that? You got the bricks in the back.
The
fuck's
going on? Is this a fucking Saw? Is this a Saw movie, dude?
Yeah.
Where's fucking Jigsaw?
Do you want to play a game?
Hey, boss. Thanks for talking.
Hey. You said you swept the Stars. That kind of shut me up. For the rest of the show.
Not one of my finest moments or proudest moments or whatever you want to call it, but I tell you one thing. It's infamous in the sense that I go into schools and young kids will come up to me and they go, "Oh, you really gave it to Bellows." And I got it. Oh, kid,
Yes.
you know, that was computer generated.
Get into the Blues alumni kind of unofficially / officially. They gave me one of these bad boys.
Oh, look at that. Got you one of
I feel
these.
pretty.
Look at that thing.
That's
What?
Huh?
We're winning the fucking Stanley Cup. The Red Wings are almost as bad as Fox internet service right Whoa! there. The Bruins are getting fucking ran out of town tonight. Your biggest luck, I got it. And Ty knows, even though he might be Mark Stoner in this thing, the Vegas Golden Knights fucking stink. Texas, what's that known for? WrestleMania's coming to town? Wally Mania's coming to town? Not the goddamn Dallas Stars. Let's go, Pens. We can't lose with 7 in the stands. Now,
Hey, great haircut. Good to meet
Yeah,
you finally.
You know, we'll
Yeah,
just
I love
soft side in the chair.
I love it.
Yeah, no, buddy.
It's as simple as this, okay? You gotta have fuck you in the game.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't, you're missing something.
I said, "Sir, if I could just speak up on his behalf, this is like the second greatest player ever." And Mario turned and looked at me and goes, "Second? Behind who?"
All 4 of those guys aren't rolling, or it's not enough to win one round. This is supposed to be a team big enough to win a cup. We're talking about one friggin' round.
Aaron Burrows told me, and he said this to Henrik Lundqvist's face at dinner. He goes, "Henke, you know how they did the renovation at the Garden for $1 billion? It's all you, bro. It's all you being in the net. $1 billion renovation at the Garden, paid for in 5 years. It wasn't because the Knicks were in the playoffs. It's because the Rangers went on all those runs, and the stud on the team, among several, was their goalie, Henrik Lundqvist."
Gino, honestly, he's one of the funniest guys you can be around, and he probably busted my chops more than anybody. "Why are you so slow? You old. Like, he would look up like my old contracts and be like, "What? No, you're no good."
Thanks for having me on. This was good hockey.
This Chiefs team,
Man.
And everybody talks about how AJ picked the Chargers because how good the Chargers play the Chiefs, and that was the point. That was evident yet again last night. And shout out to the Chargers having a fucking great game. Now, 2 minutes left in the game, the way you go about scoring there and thinking about Patrick Mahomes on the other side, down 3, it's a whole situation there. And who knows if you could take things back, you score that quick. And did the Chiefs let them score that quick? And we're happy they scored that quick. Who knows? They're in field goal range. You do your thing. You have to score. Not taking a shot at Staley at all. Just saying interesting situation for them to end up in, for us to have to talk about, because you give Patrick Mahomes that much time to come back. You obviously know at this stage of his career, at this stage of life, Patrick Mahomes is going to make plays. Not only running, obviously, but the dude he's got playing tight end for him in Travis Kelce is the best football player on any field that he's ever walked onto. Now, he's high-stepping on one touchdown. This one, he's breaking tackles and skirting into the end zone. But they go up 4 after the extra point is kicked there late in the game to beat a division rival. Travis Kelce is fucking unguardable. Yeah. He's unstoppable. And whenever they need it and got to have it, and we're getting to that point of the season. Look at this high step. The picture that he has, he posted on his IG story, and the caption he put on there is high stepper. He's up to 11 receiving touchdowns this season, tied for the most in his career. He's on pace for a career high in catches, yards, and touchdowns this season. He's 33 years old, and he now has 33 games with 100 plus yards or more, which is more than everybody who broke Gronkowski's record. He's going to go down as statistically greatest tight end of all time.
Yeah, the guy's unstoppable at this point. You can't. Like, you can do whatever you want. It's not going to happen.
We now have a returner who they kick the ball away from. That's incredible. I mean, what Keyshawn has done in the short amount of time. I mean, look at this guy. I mean, it's not like being on a kickoff team is tough. He just ran around like 4 guys there, starting the other side of the 50. It's pretty impressive. He had a bunch of great returns. I saw he's had 8 30-plus yard kickoff returns, and we only had 9 like in the last 3 years or something crazy like that. And he's only been doing it for, the last 8 or 9 weeks? You probably liked that tackle there, didn't you, Pat?
Yeah. I like the old submarine dive in there by the kicker. But also, did you see, I was just pointing out Bisaccia. Bisaccia's running down the sideline with him.
Can you circle it?
Yeah.
Right
there. Right there. And he had been sprinting literally down the whole sideline, and then the pile gets over here, which it's a spark. A big return is like an immediate juice. You guys have never had that. And at the beginning of the year, I don't think the Bisaccia effect had fully taken place. It feels like you're in a good spot now in a phase of the game that you haven't been for decades almost.
Well, I would say the last time you felt really, really good about a returner back there was probably young Randall Cobb. For his first game ever, he returned it like 108 for a touchdown. Micah Hyde as well was a good returner for us. I think he returned a couple punts for a touchdown. But kickoff return, man, that's been a long time. It really has. It's been a lot of like, no. Oh. And now it's like, bring it out, Keith. Bring it out. Come on.
Play-by-play legend, Al Michaels.
Yeah!
What's up, man?
I decided to dress for success. I've been working out all week, baby. Just to be your doppelganger. And I gotta tell you something. I don't know what the future's gonna hold next year. But if you got a spot for me, either in the studio or I could play the role of AJ Hawk as well.
We have room for you wherever, whenever. Okay, so let's dive right into it. You know that I exist. This is awesome.
I love this show.
No.
This is everything I dreamed about, right? No holds barred television. None.
How long you been in the game? TV game? I said forever, but I should have done more research. This is 100% on me.
How about 1968? I did the Hawaii Islanders of the Pacific Coast League. Minor League Baseball. Then on to the Cincinnati Reds in 1971. That's 50 freaking years ago. Marty Brenneman succeeded me for the next 44. I did 3 years there, and then I went to San Francisco. The Giants tripled my salary. And that's why. And then ABC for 30 years and NBC for 16. And here we are, man.
What? Let's go! This show fucking stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it. AJ, never cease to amaze me with your toxicity, pal.
You got a couple of these?
God damn it! What the fuck are you doing?
Fuck Boston,
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Wild Wednesday, March 29, 2023. Hour 3 shall start right now. What is going on around the world? We are discussing it all. The man to my left, your right, is college football national champion, Super Bowl champion, Ryder Cup champion, video game shit stir. Is that that's still accurate?
No, that was never accurate, but yeah, you can continue that.
Oh, that was on contraire.
Oh, really?
I asked a question to a guest, and that's what comes from that.
Yeah, but the question was delivering information that the person hadn't heard, and that information was a shot from somebody else, wasn't it? I mean, you tried to, ha-ha, did you hear? You did.
That was a follow-up. It was a follow-up to whatever he was saying earlier.
No, you saw.
It was good journalism. Oh, sorry, video game journalist.
Yeah,
okay.
You read an article.
Columnist.
NBA pundit. A columnist every single week with toxic thoughts. That's AJ Hawk.
Yeah.
Speaking of toxic, tables here at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. Sweet hat.
Hey, thanks a lot. These are kind of the new football team hats. We saw Pittsburgh Steelers one this weekend. I saw this thing hanging around. I was like, I'll throw mine.
What is that? That's a fitted hat you're wearing?
It's a fitted hat. It's the only fitted hat I own, actually. Don't love them, but it has a Patriots logo on it.
Ty, you wear a ball cap all the time.
I
Kind
do.
of a smaller head, still a big brain. Is that fitted cap or snapback?
This one is a snapback, but I do have several fitted Yankees ball caps as well.
And you wear them?
Yes.
Comfortably?
Yes.
My head's not built for it.
Yeah, I'm still stretching this one out. I actually do have a pretty bad headache right at the front of my head right now.
Right across the front.
Right here, right
Dude, it
above my
kills
left
me.
eye.
I
Yeah.
can't do it, AJ. I could do the bucket cap, I guess, because it's just pressure all the way around. But the hat in the front, it's like a fucking rear naked choke on my forehead. I assume you have similar issues.
Yeah, but I got to get like the
What's that?
XL Flex Fit.
Yeah, he loves
yes, I have a giant head. So
Yeah, AJ
As
wears
do
them like-
I, AJ. As do I.
Yeah, but
He's
he
a flex
wears
fit.
them like this.
So you got to go down.
Have you
lower.
seen?
Yeah,
It covers up
He
the eyebrows
wears
completely.
his hat.
Well, you have to
like
because
this.
it's just more comfortable down there than anywhere up
Yeah.
here because it's just kind
That's
of
my
big.
helmet. That's how I wear my helmet. Yeah, same thing.
Well, you wore your helmet like that so that you could bust your nose so
Yeah.
people look at you forever and go, oh, that guy played football.
And now that's what
That's
your
what you
boy's
did.
doing.
Yeah.
You should have seen JJ. JJ had the same thing. I was looking at the side of JJ Watt whenever he came and visited Meraldo's bachelor party at the Phoenician. Great golf course.
Yeah, great guy.
Shout JJ, great guy.
Superhero.
Also goes Chef Bose. This dude's nose, from that video we've seen, GIF, this thing goes like this, and then it actually takes a trip north. And then it comes down, and then it goes back up. It's like, oh, you busted your nose. You clearly
Many times.
busted your shit right there. It's kind of almost a badge of honor. You have one, obviously.
No, I have scars on my nose, but those are from when I was a young, like 1 year old, and I had chicken pox and picked them off. So that's my scar.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
No concussions documented. Obviously, any scar you see from a nose that ate a Rydell 50 times a game, that's from chicken pox as a child. And they say once you get it, you're good.
That's right.
One half of the hammer.
Over.
Cowboys, Tone Diggs is here. Tone, how you doing, pal?
Great. Let's not forget you could catch Chef Bo tonight on Guys Grocery Games on the Food Network.
Is he competing?
Oh, he's competing, yeah.
Hey, let's win this thing, Bo.
Love you, Bo.
Yes.
I'm surprised you weren't called into the kitchen to help.
Yeah, what the hell?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
If I could be his sous chef, oh boy.
Would you ever?
Yeah, I would.
If you get an opportunity to go to Chef Bo's, you go to Chef Bo's.
Once in a lifetime.
Just cancel whatever you're doing and go to Chef Bo's.
All right, 14-year NFL corner also joining us on the stage here. Icon in every single facet of the world. Has numerous bangers released as a rapper.
Yep.
He's a poet. He's a social media megastar.
Yep.
Beat the fuck out of a guy
Yeah.
for Shaq.
Had
That
to.
Shaq.
Had to do it.
Pac-Man Jones. All right, let's talk about some stuff that's happening around the NFL. Lamar's been tweeting about his situation publicly, kind of answering a lot of the questions that people and pundits are maybe throwing out there about Lamar Jackson. And he said, I don't remember me sitting out on my guys week 1 versus Jets to week 12 versus the Broncos. How come all of a sudden I sit out because of money in which I could have got hurt at any time within that time frame? When we know the Super Bowl been on my mind since April 2018, obviously when he got drafted. Let's get real. I'd rather have 100% PCO than go out there and play horrible, forcing myself to put my guys in a bad situation. Now that's selfish to me, which he would also probably get cooked for being washed if he was to go out there and play completely unhealthy. So what he was alluding to is, so for 12 weeks, I was not playing. I was not thinking about money. Like, where do we draw the line here? Kind of poking holes in some theories that have been said about Lamar, both by, I think, pundits and also fans of teams that don't necessarily want their team to spend whatever amount of money that has not been confirmed publicly yet to get Lamar Jackson there. AJ, do you enjoy this tactic from Lamar? I feel like getting his version of events out there and his thoughts out there is a good thing, especially because he's representing himself, and it's literally him versus the NFL right now almost when it comes to media and punditry and all of that type of stuff, AJ.
Yeah, I love that he's coming out and trying to be more vocal with this, because perception becomes reality. If you don't, he's in a weird spot, because if he's quiet and doesn't say anything, just goes about his business, people are just going to say crazy
all these
things.
are true.
Yeah, and then people assume it's true. So, and then you come out and talk. Yeah, maybe it helps with some people. The good thing is Lamar seems to not care too much about what everything else is going on around him. He wants to play football. He wants to work it out. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm glad he's talking.
To your last point, though, I think that's what we're thinking, though. Like all the stuff that he has to do all this stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Because he has nobody working for him right now. You know?
Because normally, couldn't you have, if you had an agent, they'd be calling
Right.
Shefty and Ian, be like, hey, they
Florio.
put these stories out, and Florio, all these different people, Schultze, you could call them and put things out that you're thinking or that's possibly the truth instead of whatever other people say.
Go ahead, Pac.
Yeah, I agree with you too, and we should know the number. Like, I think he said something really good. Mike said something really good earlier. I would put out the number that they offered.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because nobody knows the number. We all sit like, what is the number? All right, you saying it's not 220 or 230.
Florio.
You saying it's not Florio. You saying it's not 200. Tell us what they offer and tell us a ballpark range, I would say. I don't know, because right now we don't know. Everybody's assuming like he wants 230. He wants the whole thing guaranteed. Of course, nobody want to sign a per game, $1 million per game. That means I got every game I play, I get $1 million. That's not guaranteed money.
Conversation of every contract is guaranteed money. That is literally that negotiation. This virtually practically guaranteed. You heard Florio talk about it. He's like, it's pretty much coming. It just got to wait a year. It's like, well, then pretty much should come now is how the player is always going to think about it. But what Florio was saying is like, all we've heard is Baltimore Ravens leaks of what the contract offer was. 133, another 80, this. If he had an agent, this is another thing that Florio is basically saying. If he had an agent, his reasoning on why he didn't accept the deal would be out there. Like, hey, this is it. This particular thing was in there that I didn't like. Just at least by somebody that has some sort of platform in sports. It's almost like a PR battle at this point, because the only information that other teams can go from, if they're not talking directly to Lamar, is the public information that's coming through the insiders. Do you know how many team executives utilize these insiders for information about what's going on in all these different places? They're working all the time. That's why these insiders have the job that they have, AJ.
Yeah, that's why it also seems like a job I would never want to have, because they're never off the clock. Not only are they always trying to break stories and get everything, but they're, no matter what, there's never a day off. They're always gathering information if they're good at their job. And that's what these guys that we see breaking stories all the time and leaking things, not leaking, but letting us know kind of what's happening. Like, they're just never off the clock. They're always on it. And those execs use these people very, it's precisely, they use them when they need them.
What did JJ say? If you're hearing anything right now, there's a reason you're hearing it. It's like, that's the type of shit we're talking about behind the scenes, especially when we're talking about a couple $100 million guaranteed. Why not at least try to, get a little bit of assistance if it's not working out? But once again, he could still sign a deal that is very huge with a lot of guaranteed money. We still have time for that to happen. There's a lot of speculation on his business sense, because a lot of the things that are happening aren't necessarily what normally happen in these situations. And a lot of us are talking about it as if, like, who knows if this should be happening? Because we don't know. But there's a chance he still gets a deal done. And we have to remember that. We hope that's the case. And I think that's all any of us are kind of wishing for.
With what Arthur Blank said about, like, I don't think there's a way that he can play the same way for 6 to 7 years. Do you think there's any thought that this might be a yearly thing too? Like, he might be looking for a 6-year deal and the best they're offering is like a 4-year deal because of his play?
I think the 6-year deal just ups the guaranteed money to a place in which it can be. I think 5 years, 6 years is only there for that. I think per year, potentially a lot easier. But once again, that's a conversation that has to happen with a bunch of teams to make kind of happen. This is what Arthur Blank said at the league meetings. Falcons owner Arthur Blank said Tuesday the Lamar Jackson situation is very different from Deshaun Watson's last year, I'd say. Different player, different time. You have a winner in Jackson, an MVP in the league. There's no question he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Okay. So remember, he was in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. He wasn't in as much as the Cleveland Browns were. So everybody's saying just because the Falcons were in it, they should be in it as much as the Browns were. Remember, they backed off when the Browns said $230 million guaranteed. More from Arthur Blank, the founder of Home Depot, I believe, on Jackson. Looking at it objectively, I'd say there's some concern over how long he can play his style of game. Hopefully a long time. But he's missed 5-6 games each of the last 2 years. Each game counts as a lot in our business, which is a very real stat, especially at that position. That's from Josh Kendall, Josh the Athletic. This guy writes the shit out some words.
Josh.
Thank you for reporting that. Joining us now is a man who might have some answers about what teams are thinking, more specifically, what Arthur Blank just said. He's been a GM in the league. He's been a consultant in the league. He's been a part of 3 Super Bowls. He's an author, a speaker, a legend. Host of the Lombardi Line and the GM Shuffle. Writer for the Daily Coach, which I still receive every single morning, an email blast. An absolute icon, Michael Lombardi.
Hello, Pat. How are you? Nice to see everybody. I appreciate it. The Arthur Blank commentary was, to me, no one followed up with the question. No one asked Arthur Blank, like, why is this year different? The reason that Deshaun Watson's not an Atlanta Falcon is because of the guaranteed contract. The Cleveland, remember, Cleveland was told they're out. And the way they got back in was when they guaranteed all that money, or else he was going to be a Falcon. Everybody in Atlanta thought that. So for Blank to say that this is different than last year, it's ridiculous because he doesn't have a quarterback. He's in the NFC. There's no quarterbacks in the NFC. There's Jalen Hurts, there's Jared Goff, there's Kirk, there's Prescott. You could shift the balance of power with one move. And this rhetoric, well, we wanted to have a young quarterback. Last year you didn't want a young quarterback. You wanted to pay one. Like, it makes no sense to me how these NFC teams are not after Lamar Jackson. And I thought his commentary was ridiculous in the sense that you were willing to pay a guy who had a tremendous off-the-field problems, but now who was going to miss 12 games. You talk durability. He was going to miss 12 games, or at least. Remember, we were all guessing last year.
Assumed a year.
Yeah, a year. That didn't bother him last year, but now durability bothers him this year. To me, he's talking out of both sides. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense.
Why do you think they're doing that? Because they were one of the teams that tweeted from all of their insiders, pretty much, all the insiders that have a connection. Like, the Atlanta Falcons are not interested in Lamar Jackson. And yesterday, before Arthur Blank even spoke about the situation, they made it very publicly, Desmond Ridder is the starter, even though Heineke's down there. Why do you think it is? Do you think this is obviously everybody not wanting to give him the guaranteed contract? And do we even know if that's what he wants? And how often do you think he's talking to these teams?
I think a lot of this, and I know Lamar tweets stuff out, and I know Lamar feels very comfortable with his position, but I think a lot of the problems in this, he doesn't have an agent. He doesn't have a buffer. He doesn't have somebody to help him along here. He doesn't have somebody who's able to put his spin of the story out or talk to teams. So all we hear is a narrative that's not an accurate narrative. So for me, I think it hurts him. Look, he sat in that green room for 31 picks. He was a better collegiate player than Trey Lance ever was. Trey Lance went third. He sat in that room because he didn't have an agent. He didn't have somebody promoting him, somebody helping him. I think it's really been a deterrent to not have that. I think it's a problem.
Lombo, do you think, I know, like, there's not, people couldn't want to say collusion or whatever. Do you think these owners, someone just doesn't want to be the next owner to guarantee one of these giant contracts because they want to make sure this isn't the norm moving forward?
Well, but look, I agree they don't want to be what the Browns did, they don't want to duplicate, but we've seen Russell Wilson's contract get done since the Watson deal, right? We've seen Kyler Murray get his deal done. We're going to see Joe Burrow get his deal done. We're going to see Justin Herbert get his deal done. So we're going to see contracts come out. It really comes down to, and this is what makes Atlanta so strange to not be involved. They run the offense that's tailor-made for Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
They're a running team. They run boots. Like Arthur's, if I were to say what would be great for Lamar Jackson, I would say a Kyle Shanahan offense or an Arthur Smith offense. Like, that's what I think he belongs in. It makes no sense. And again, the balance of power in the NFC, like the 49ers win total this year came out at 11.5 because there's no quarterbacks in the NFC. Rodgers is going to the Jets.
Wow.
Like, if you could change that, you could control it. The AFC, get to the Super Bowl, you got to go through Burrow, you got to go through Mahomes, you got to go through Herbert, you got to go through all these good quarterbacks.
Oh,
what's that?
That's just funny. And, those three.
Josh Allen as well, Lombo. I assume there was
I'm sorry, I met Josh Allen. I give him in there. It's all in there.
Okay, well,
You know,
Connor heard you leave him out, and Connor's like, just like I thought.
Boom.
The window's closed.
Thank
That's
you,
what Connor's
Lombardi.
been saying, Lombo. So you fed the beast over here.
You left out Rodgers.
That was not, to me, the AFC's loaded with quarterbacks.
We agree.
And it's a problem. You could have a great year and go against one of those quarterbacks and fall short, trying to get, whereas in the NFC, I mean, there's really, I know Dak's good. I know Jalen Hurts played great, but the schedule doesn't lend itself every week. You're like, oh my gosh.
All right, let's talk about the Aaron Rodgers to the Jets that we all just kind of have seen as a foregone conclusion. Mark Murphy has openly admitted it. Gutekunst basically openly admitted it. Aaron has admitted it. Joe Douglas has talked about it. All parties know exactly what's going to happen. Excited to see how they get a deal done and what they get a deal done. Florio was on here earlier today, and he said that the Green Bay Packers have given up wanting the 13th overall pick, which has been the massive holdup. He thinks it's probably going to be 2 second-rounders that could move to a late first if the Jets have success with Aaron Rodgers and he plays again. And then maybe the Packers would have to send something else if Aaron only plays 1 year for them picking up the contract that is like $60 million guaranteed regardless of this whole thing. So your eyes, how this is all kind of panning out. Did you know that the Packers have gotten off of that 13 stand? And did you know that they were going to have to probably for a deal to get done, Lombo?
Well, I think somebody was going to have to move to get it done, right? I mean, somebody was going to have to move, and I think Green Bay's options were dwindling because, you either going to take something for the player or get nothing for the player. So their options weren't as strong as everybody thinks they're in control. I do think the Jets had a little bit more leverage, but there's a deal to be made here. Look, it's no reason to not think a deal could be made. Aaron Rodgers is worth well more than a 2 for even 1 year. If the Jets only have to give up a 2 and something else, it's a great deal because he gives them a chance to win a Super Bowl. Now, it's all going to have to come together, and all those things are going to have to play out. And Josh Allen, Connor, I don't want to upset you about telling you the Jets are going to the Super Bowl, but, I think it all plays out. It becomes important. That's worth it, too, right? Look what the Rams did to get a Super Bowl. Look what they did to get a Super Bowl. Look at the money that they spent and the draft picks and the capital that they put in to get a Super Bowl. Was it worth it? You have to say it was. Now they're paying the consequences now, but it was worth it. I think the Jets are in the same boat.
OBJ, big hug with Bob Saleh yesterday at the league meetings. Pac-Man has a question for you, Lombo.
Lombo, I want to go back to Lamar because I was just thinking about this. You had Baker Mayfield went first. You had Sam Darnold. Who else was in there? Josh Allen. And Lamar went last in that class.
Don't forget Josh Rosen. Josh
Rosen was before.
The Rosen one.
Dog.
Yeah. All these guys went before Lamar. It looked like they are getting paid. Well, we know one of them is getting paid. What is the number? Like, can you tell us like a number that the owners will agree to?
Well, I think the number, it's pretty clear. There's a deal to be made here. This is where I wrote this last week for VSiN online. Like, if I'm Chris Ballard, I'm flying to Florida, and I'm going to spend as much time with Lamar's mom and him to figure out what is the deal. No one knows what the deal is. Because he doesn't have an agent. There's no communication. If I were a team like the Washington football team, can you imagine the Washington football team sat there and said, we're not interested in Lamar. We've got Sam Howell. Can you imagine you say that with a straight face? Seriously.
Commanders.
Like, you owe it to the Ernie, of course, he taught me this when I was with him in Cleveland. He said, the general manager's job is to protect the franchise. Now, I'm not telling these teams they should go after Lamar, but they should protect their franchise and do due diligence to see what it would take. What is the deal we could make? Because we're going to get an elite player. And we're going to get a young elite player. We have Hayden Hooker going. Some people have Hayden Hooker going in the first round. He's 20. He's a year younger than Lamar. Are we serious here now? Like, what are we doing?
You're talking about
so you've got to do your due diligence.
All right. Well, you said earlier Shanahan, McVay offense for Lamar. Shane Steichen too, huh? Shane Steichen out here in Indy. Isn't it perfect?
It's ideal. He's the six back. Okay, so here's what we do know. Let's put on the table what we know.
Bingo.
The Colts have to pick a quarterback at 4 because they don't have one. Gardner Minshew's not going to be their starter.
What?
And they're not going to pick somebody in the second round. So either they're going after Lamar or they're picking somebody at 4, or they're going to trade a little bit down. But they're going to have to pick a quarterback. Now, maybe they fell in love with Richardson. Maybe they fell in love with Levis. I don't know. Or Hooker. I don't know. But they're going to pick one. Would you rather not do your due diligence on Lamar and find out what it would take? And I promise you this now. I promise you this. If you made a deal, you could make a deal for Lamar because there's nobody else calling that you could get Lamar cheaper than the 2 number ones. I can promise you that. Baltimore will give you, because Baltimore's in the same spot that Green Bay's in. They're going to have to take something. He's not going back there.
And the whole world knows it. It's fascinating. Connor has a question for you, Lombo.
Yeah, Lombardi, a team that is out on Lamar, allegedly today, per Jeff Howe, is the Patriots. Aside from that, yesterday we heard from Tom Curran that maybe Bill Belichick's seat isn't as, comfortable as we would expect it to be because of all the success. Do you think, even though the AFC East, like you said, will have 3 legitimate teams, do you think that if he doesn't have that much success this year, he might be on his way out?
I think the expectations are always high in New England. It's fascinating. You go to the owners' meetings. I don't want to pick. There's some coaches that have been in the playoffs, have been head coaches for a long time, and they're not on the hot seat. A guy's won 6 Super Bowls, and he's on the hot seat. I think, look, Lamar to the Patriots. People ask that. Why doesn't it make sense? It makes sense on paper, but if you understand the Patriot way, right? If you understand the 25 years of whatever it's been there. Is Tom Brady took less money to play quarterback there. Do you think that they're going to now change who they are and pay the quarterback the most money?
Yeah.
How does that look? How does that look towards Tom? Hey, Tom, we did, thank you for all you did, but we're going to go ahead and give Lamar all the money now. Like, doesn't really fit the modus operandi. Do I think Lamar would make him a good team? Yeah. Do I wish they would have drafted Lamar when he came out? Absolutely. I was on record as saying that.
Yeah.
However, that being said, it just doesn't fit right now. But I find it interesting that the greatest coach of all time has heat on him, and there's some coaches that have been coaching for a long time, have made the playoffs 3 times in their careers, and they're not on a hot seat.
The modus operandi can be shaken up a little bit. It certainly can. But could you imagine fucking up the modus operandi in Green Bay if they were to bring in like Odell Beckham Jr. or D-Hop after Aaron leaves?
Yeah.
Like, that would be like a similar situation. I'm happy to hear that Bill Belichick's human enough to think about that.
Yeah.
Like, that's a human thought.
Especially after
Brady. I will say this to you, Pat. There is never a time when he's putting the team together that the player on the team, I can't pay that player. Why? Because we play this pay or this. Those are. I've been in those conversations. So he is in tune to the locker room. He's in tune to the pay structure. That's why Darrelle Revis, when he came with us in 2014, he took less money. He couldn't make more than Brady. He couldn't make more than some, because he understands what guys have done before them.
That's at college. That's like they're talking about his seat getting hot or whatever if he doesn't have success. Tommy Curran brought that to our show. My actual response was, holy shit. Is that even, I just assumed Bill would be able to do whatever the hell he wants. That leaves, you got to find that whole thing over again.
Yeah.
It's not as easy just to put we're figuring it out right now. Hopefully Steichen will be great. It's not as easy just to turn over dynasty to dynasty to dynasty. Those who are able to do it are obviously very few and far between. But New England will have it happen for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Ty has a question for you, Lombo.
Michael, you mentioned Trey Lance, and we heard from the league meetings that both Shanahan and John Lynch said that Sam Darnold might be the guy going week 1 if Purdy's not ready and then Purdy's behind him. What the hell is going on with Trey Lance? Is he just not good enough to get an opportunity? What do you ultimately see happening with him? Because they're just, it seems like they're kind of just fucked and they have no idea what to do with him. And at this point, does anyone even want him?
He don't fit. I don't think he fits what they do. He hasn't played in 4 years. Think about this. Lamar sat in there for 31 picks. Trey Lance didn't even play his senior year and got picked 3rd overall. He's a great athlete. Lamar's a great athlete. He's got a great arm. Lamar's got a great arm. Like, seriously, how does these things happen? It's all propaganda. It's all marketing. And so, to me, Lance came out. He wasn't really fit what they did, and there was a lot of debate. Should have been Mac Jones, should have been Trey Lance, all that. And Kyle's offense, I think Sam Darnold fits Kyle's offense perfectly. I think if you watch the end of the year last year, was Sam Darnold great? No, but I thought he was a lot better than he was at the Jets. This is what we do know about San Francisco. They are a quarterback-friendly team, and they have great yards after the catch receivers. And so they make the quarterback look better. But unfortunately for Trey Lance, after the Houston game, they didn't make him look better. And on that airplane flying back from the Houston preseason game, the 49ers knew they couldn't win with Trey Lance. They needed to get Garoppolo back. They knew that. They understood that. They lose the opener to Chicago. He's not ready to play. Experience matters. There's a thing. I think it's really important. I think it goes into this year's draft, guys. I think there's an experience factor. There's an innate thing. Pat, I'm sure if you sat and talked to Peyton Manning, he can tell you every single thing that happened in games down to a detail.
Yes.
He knows that. There's an instinct that he has. Bill Russell's wife bought him a tape when he played at the University of San Francisco 50 years ago, and Bill Russell went through the tape and knew every single play. Great players have that ability to remember that. It's an instinct. They just have it. And I'm not sure Lance, with all the lack of experience, has that. I think Bryce Young does.
Ooh. Oh, you like Bryce?
Yeah, I did. I've changed on that, Pat. I started with Bryce at the perfect place to start with him. I started with prove to me at 5'10" you can play in the league. And I think he has that innate ability to see the game differently. It's almost a Steph Curry kind of trait. He's got an ability like we saw with Norwell at Kansas State. He makes plays happen that I don't see on the tape. Just watch closely the championship game his junior year when they played against the Georgia defense, which was the best defense in football.
What, they have six in the first round, that Georgia defense, I think?
Unbelievable, right? He made unbelievable throws. And I was talking to a head coach who was at the workout the other day, and the head coach said to me his arm was alive more than I saw it even on the tape. I think Bryce Young will be the first pick.
God, AJ, damn.
Lombo, let's say Bryce Young does go number 1 overall to Carolina. How does he fit with Frank Reich and Josh McCown and what they can do with him?
I think there's a lot you could do. I think he's going to be in shotgun quite a bit. When you watch him throw those pitchers, his shoulders are tilted, much like Drew Brees. If you put a snapshot of Drew Brees throwing and Bryce Young throwing, it would look similar. The instincts to make plays on the move are great. And I think they would be in shotgun. And with the way that offensive line ran block last year, with Miles Sanders now in the backfield with them to go along with Chuba Hubbard, I think they can be really good. Now, they got to get better at receiver. They signed Chark on a 1-year deal. They got Thielen in the slot. They'll get better, but this is a team that wasn't a bad team. Look, if J.C. Horn stayed healthy at the end of the year last year, I think they beat Tampa. They gave up 3 touchdowns to Mike Evans in that game that killed them. So
deep balls, 3 deep balls. Wasn't it like 50, 60, 45 or something like that?
Yep, absolutely. So I think they're closer than you think. I think Bryce is the pick. Now, I'm not saying C.J. Stroud's not a good player. I'm not suggesting that at all. I think C.J. will go 2. I think he's really good. But I think there's a uniqueness. There's a Steph Curry ability in Bryce Young.
They've been calling him the Steph Curry of football for a long time. We said it on this show a bunch of times. A lot of people were saying, who's saying it? Who's saying it? Lombo just said it.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Tone has a question for you, Lombo.
Speak with the quarterbacks in the draft. As a former GM, how confident would you be selecting a guy after Stroud and after Bryce Young, say like Will Levis or Anthony Richardson?
I would be nervous because I was at a coaching clinic this past weekend, and we were talking to a lot of former NFL head coaches were there, and there were some NFL coaches. We were talking about there's a 50% chance that a guy's not going to play. I mean, Pac-Man cited that draft in 2015. I mean, with Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold and all those guys. I mean, look, it's a little bit of a crapshoot.
Yeah.
So that's why I think, to me, if you're Chris Ballard, are you going to take 4 or are you going to go after Lamar? Now, I know 4 gives you a better cap structure. I get that. But Lamar's the sure thing. You know you're going to get a winner. You know you're going to get a playmaker. Like, why wouldn't you do that? If I were Washington, I would be all in. I don't care about who's the new owner. At least I'm going to fly down and spend time with Lamar and his mom and talk about why I think this would be a good fit. Because negotiations aren't always about money. They're about forming a partnership. When you're going to give somebody this kind of money, whether you're going to give it to Josh Allen, whether you're going to give it to Justin Herbert or to whomever, you got to have a partnership with this.
Yeah, and maybe, just like Lamar said, Baltimore hasn't valued me
Right. No.
at all. It's like I don't want to say jaded, but it is like, it's tough to do business with somebody you no longer have respect for or think don't have respect for you. Like, that is a tough thing to do. And I think it's kind of happening in the Lamar situation.
Yeah, Veach talked to you about that with Mahomes. Like, Mahomes had to commit to Kansas City just as much as Kansas City had to commit to him.
Everybody talks about the 10-year deal, $430 million. We found that out like 6 months after. We thought it was a $500 million deal. But the way Veach talked about it is like, it takes a special, unique situation to do that. He has to trust that we're going to make the right decisions and that we're going to treat him properly with respect. And we have to trust that he's going to be able to be a player for fucking 10 years. That's a big decision. Obviously, that's an outlier, but we think Joe Burrow is going to get that type of deal. We assume Herbert's going to get that type of deal with the Chargers with the way business, family is potentially going in that whole thing. So now what will Lamar get? We shall see. Pac-Man has the last question for you here, Lombo.
My main question is, I want to hear your top 5 because I'm a little versatile in what you had, your picks. Just because this guy right here. Can you tell me your top 5 picks of this year's draft?
I think that's going to remain to be seen. I think tomorrow when Richardson works out, I think Richardson is the most unique player in this draft in terms of athleticism, arm, body, all those things. I wish he would have stayed in school another year. I really do.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Did you see what they're doing down there? He would have had to transfer. Did you know that Florida team almost got shut out by Oregon State in the Las Vegas Bowl, like 50-something to 3? I mean, they're in a bad spot down there, Lombo.
Well, you could have gone in the portal, though. I mean, you could have gone to Alabama, right?
Yeah.
You could have gone in the portal.
Oh, my God.
Heisman.
Immediately.
Go to Georgia.
I just think, to me, that's going to be an interesting thing what happens. But as I said, Pac-Man, I think you're going to get, the Colts can't bluff. They're not bluffing. They're either taking a quarterback or 4, they're moving slightly down, or they're signing Lamar. That's their options. I mean, who else is going to play quarterback in Indianapolis? The owners come out. They got to give Steichen. They're not going to pick somebody in the second round and think he's going to start for them. So I think, you're going to see that. And I think it's going to be interesting what happens with Carter as more research gets done. But I think Richardson's workout really tomorrow is going to be critical because Richardson fits that 6-back offense really well.
Hell yeah, just like Steichen likes. All right, we appreciate the hell out of you making time. Is this a new studio here? Where are we at right now?
Yeah, I'm in Las Vegas for the next month and a half, so I'm here at the Circus Studio. If you ever come out, Stadium Swims right around. It's awesome here. It's really remarkable.
In Vegas, you got a Carrot Top over there at Luxor?
Oh, you should.
Yeah, I got to go see Carrot Top. Yeah, that would be ideal for me.
Oh my God!
That would be perfect.
Oh no!
I want to see Sinbad too. Sinbad and Carrot Top. That's on my list.
Springsteen.
Yeah, we've seen these tweets about Springsteen. You're pumped he's on tour again, huh?
Oh my God! Can you imagine some idiot on Twitter said the guy's had 1 hit? He sold his catalog for $700 million to Sony, and some idiot on Twitter says he's only had 1 hit. I mean, literally, people complain about what he doesn't play at the concert. Come on, have a clue. You might not like his music. Respect the man. Give the man some respect.
Have a clue.
Yeah.
Just like he played it in '74. Born to Run. Springsteen's a fucking dog.
It's the same. I call it the Born to Run theory in every talk. The guy, I heard it in '74. I hear it in '23. It don't change. Same enthusiasm. That takes a lot of character to do that. People get bored.
Yeah, absolutely. I did one comedy tour. It's the first time I've ever done a show back-to-back-to-back nights. Comedians do that on a very regular basis to work their material and do everything. Whenever I was doing it, I would literally just do one show, let me dump everything out, and then I wouldn't do it for another 7-8 months. So I always said to people, I don't know how you're able to give the same amount of energy and passion to your jokes and stories every single night. And they talk about how it's like a baby and you're kind of raising it and you're adding new things onto it. I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to try this one time. We had 4 shows in a row. And I thought by the 4th one, I'd have it all figured out. I knew the thing. By night 3, I was like, this shit is not funny. These motherfuckers why are you laughing at this? I hated it so bad. I had to change it up for the 4th night because I was getting so bored. That's a talent. That's a genuine talent. That's an ability that everybody doesn't have. And I heard that fucking guy plays for 4 hours. Is that real?
Yeah, he did. When I was growing up, he played 4, but now he's down to 3. You get 27 songs, and and some idiot thinks he's got 1 hit. Can you imagine that? And I love this. I love this when they tell me, you say, "Oh, Lombardi, you're just some old guy who likes Springsteen." Well, I look at the stadiums; they're all filled. There's a lot of us, so I'm in good company. There's a lot of us.
You're damn right. Amen. We appreciate you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Guys.
Michael Lombardi. Hell yeah. All right, we need to answer some phone calls. We need to do a giveaway. We need to wrap up this beautiful show. We need to run through some plays that Pac-Man Jones has that we have highlights of. Do we have those? Have we gone through all of them? I think we have, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. There's definitely more than a few.
Dude, yeah, you got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
You know that.
We went through a couple of them.
Hey, people are changing their numbers right now.
Yeah.
0 is getting added into the Rolodex of numbers you're allowed to have. Pac-Man obviously had to wear in the 20s whenever he was in the NFL, wore 9 in college. Would you have worn 9 in the NFL if you were able to?
Yeah, if I could, I would wear 9. But no way in hell I was wearing 9 in Tennessee because we had Steve McNair. So
rest in peace.
Yeah,
Yeah,
RIP.
rest in peace, Steve.
And also Pac-Man, a lot of jerseys from Pac-Man, so we'd probably have to pay a pretty penny, right?
Yeah, remember
Change
that's the
number.
rule. If you're going to change your number, you have to buy out the number of jerseys that are left for sale at NFLshop.com. Some people have said they're going to change their number and then had to wait 2 years because all the jerseys sold. And then they're able to go ahead and create another jersey. I believe that was kind of what has taken place over the last couple of years, AJ.
Yeah, I think you're the one that kind of brought that to my attention. But yeah, we've heard players talk about that.
Yeah, it was Dalvin
Cook. Yeah, he was
Debo
going to, and he
It'll wait a
realized he was
year.
going to have to pay like $2.3 million to get rid of all his jerseys. I don't think so.
All right, so we'll do it later.
That happened to Ocho Cinco back in the day, too, when he wanted to change his last name.
Oh, you want to do that, huh? That's cute. We need to move 17,000 jerseys.
Yeah.
We're paying for that? Because you want to? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So you're fucking Chad Johnson for at least another 17,000 jerseys being sold. Okay. That's a funny thought. But the number 0 being added in there, AJ, you like it or hate it?
I like it. I mean, why not? If you can wear 0 and you play well, good for you. If you play
JaVale?
terrible, good luck. Have fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of jokes sitting out there, I guess, for you. JaVale McGee, he wore 00 the other night.
Hell yeah.
He looks so cool.
And Calvin Ridley.
Still doing
He's
it.
wearing
I don't
0.
even know anybody's number, though. I don't know. I don't notice numbers that much.
What?
Just massive part of branding and everything that's going on everywhere when you watch a game.
In football, yeah, no, but still, I don't know. I couldn't name most guys' numbers.
I agree. Okay, I understand where you're coming from. There's a lot of people like that. Numbers do matter, though, very much so. That's why Tom Brady was so pissed that it kind of opened up the single digit to any position.
Yep.
Because it used to be position-specific numbers.
Yeah.
Now kickers are allowed to wear 99 if they want, like old school Groza.
That's pretty
Let's
sweet.
go.
That's not bad. Go out there and D tackle.
You like that? You like 99 for a kicker?
I mean, that would be a number I would wear, I think.
It was your high school number, right?
Yeah, I wore it in high school because they just gave it to me. First game show up. 7X. Shout out.
Dress.
Thanks for making me look like a jackass. We go bomb some balls for you real quick. But yeah, 99, I think it was Groza back in the day. I do believe. But I would wear it. I think it would look cool.
Yeah.
Could bring back Blankenship, put him in 97.
Hot Rod?
Was that his number down Georgia?
Pretty sure.
What's
Maybe it was
Hot Rod
47.
doing?
What is Hot Rod up?
Legos, right?
I thought he was in Lego Masters.
He did.
Yeah.
He probably could because he is talented.
Yeah.
Well, it sounded like your angle that you were saying there. I don't appreciate.
Absolutely not. Ty turned me on to the show. It's unbelievable, and I know
Is
that
it?
Blankenship is very
Lego
good.
Masters has the Reese's voice guy.
Yes, Will
they
Arnett.
build-
Lego
they build
Masters
stuff with a
is
Lego?
fucking sick.
Yeah.
It is an awesome show.
Hot Rod was 98 in college.
Ah, fucker.
I knew you were lying. That's why I was so confused.
I
when you
knew
said
it was 90-something, though.
Calvin Ridley is wearing the number 0,
Yeah.
which somebody tweeted, the amount of money you want when you decide to gamble. And then he said, that shit's behind me. I want 36K. Okay, Calvin Ridley has come out and told his entire side of the story in an article on the Players Tribune.
Yep.
Basically talking about the point in life that he had got to with abuse of alcohol, I believe in drugs, and the gambling happened there because he was so isolated from the team. And it was a bad point of his life. And he took the year-long suspension after it was learned that he gambled on some games. And he kind of changed his entire life, changed his entire vision, changed everything. So it ended up helping him. I think he's in a much better spot now than he was then. But I do like to hear that he was sick of people saying, oh, you lost. He's like, I also fucking won. Let's, I like that he cleared the air. The person that he answered to, that particular tweeter, he screenshotted that and then said, shows no remorse for what had happened in the past. It's like, pal, he wrote an entire blog.
Yeah, that's a blog.
Yeah.
Article?
That'd be an article. Players Tribune's a reputable source.
That kind of opened all of our eyes to what Calvin Ridley was going through. I think we're all incredibly happy for him. And I think what he's going to do with Jacksonville is about to be fucking ridiculous in that number 0.
Who the fuck is this guy?
It's fake. It's 500 followers.
Yeah.
Has a check mark. Matters, doesn't.
Yeah, some prick.
His handle might as well be at Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Boom. Also,
put the ears on.
Yeah, just for the record here, That guy plays 2 bets and he won $36K. I need him to handicap my bets.
See, but he said can't.
You can't do
and
it.
we don't think he can either.
He's not allowed.
But when he retires, he's got, I think, a pretty good.
Head to Vegas.
Stop it.
Right. Could he keep the $36K though? Did they let him keep it?
I would assume that was taken pretty quickly.
Stop enabling.
Someone made a good point. I forget who it was before, but if he had lost, he probably
wouldn't have got nothing better.
Probably doesn't get caught.
No, remember they told us that they have some AI thing that basically searches every sports book. They have a deal with every sports book. They search through it all, registered. There's alarms that go off. Is this the same? They check it, background check it, then bang, that's how he got caught. I assume that the players were told about this, but maybe they just thought bullshit, you know? But it's nice to know that they have that because for the good of the game, we can't have anybody betting on games.
Yeah. And it
can't. For the good of all parties.
They do tell us that too.
That they have the tracking on the names of illegal sports books?
Well, they tell us no sports betting.
No, yeah, well, that's
at me.
I tried to tell the boys, like, that's the biggest thing. Like,
biggest thing
do not be Pete Rose here.
That's the biggest thing when you have
signs everywhere.
The team meeting. That's the number one thing they focus on is do not place no sports bet.
Do not jeopardize the integrity of this league, okay? You are not anywhere near important enough to fuck up what we all got going on. Is pretty much what it is, because once the games get questioned, then everything's gone. The gambling business is gone. The league is done. So that's why such a harsh penalty was given to Calvin Ridley, because it was very much a, hey, as sports gambling is getting more legal and more mainstream, we need to remind the world and everybody, we ain't doing this.
Nope.
Calvin Ridley wasn't with the team at the time. He talked about how, he's away from the team. Felt like he was. It's an interesting thing, but can't happen, AJ. Can't have it.
It's one of the few things that could, actually hurt the NFL. Like right now, I feel like it's a rocket ship. It's only going up. If people really start questioning the games and hey, are these guys, are there things like this where people are throwing things or whatever? That's one of the few things I think could drive viewership down.
The scripted thing started getting real loud.
Yeah. Which is wild.
And it's like, yo, NFL, I think you should address this. That's why, that the refs are the ones now, not the players, right? Right now, the conversation is the refs are, they hear, they know. It's like, okay, all right. The amount of people that would have to know and keep a secret would be absurd. And I respect how much faith you have in humans. Somebody's not telling, you don't think somebody is just getting a little boozed up one night?
Right.
And in an effort to woo whoever their company is, wouldn't potentially leak that out of their mouth, and then bang, it's gone, then the NFL's done? You think that's happening? Respect that you think that's happening. I do. I respect that you think, but you have too much faith in humanity. When it's the players, can't fucking happen. Just can't take place at all. And I hope that you're right, AJ. That is the one, Achilles heel almost of this whole
thing. I wonder if that's part of the reason. I can't remember who it was, but they just ruled that sports books can't be involved with colleges or college athletes. Probably because you can't trust kids and there's too many of them to police to make sure they aren't.
130 guys on a roster.
Yeah.
Okay? A lot of guys on scholarship that ain't ever going to pan out to be shit. The fact that they could potentially make some money, yeah. I mean,
a lot of guys not on scholarship, too, that can be easily swayed when they're trying to pay their rent.
Yep.
Yeah, it's smart. That's
Especially
a good
if
idea.
you see what other people on your team are making in NIL. It's like, well, I'm not playing. I'm not gonna get any NIL deals, but I'll fucking
Arch Manning, 3.1 mil, I believe, is what he has earned already.
Nice.
Oh,
Big money
already.
Hey, there's big money in this NIL stuff, right?
Big money. Kid from Tennessee getting $3 million. Who's the high? LeBron's son is the highest paid.
Bronny.
I think.
He got
What did he get? 7.3.
Dropped 15 last night in an All-American game.
Yeah.
Including a late 3 from the side.
Clean.
Where's he going to school?
Wherever he wants. He can play. He's good enough to play wherever he wants.
They're saying he's going to your alma mater.
Ohio State.
Why they didn't have a very good year this year. Is he
Yeah, but they got good NIL, though, I think. I think Ohio State probably got a good NIL, but there's millions of dollars being floated out here. And it's only going to grow as it gets more competitive. And obviously the market will kind of find its balance at some point. NIL valuation here, top 100. Bronny James, 7.2. Arch Manning, 3.7. Livy Dunn, who's the gymnast from LSU, 3.4 million. Mikey Williams, do we know who that is? Basketball?
Yeah,
Basketball player.
He's a dog. I don't understand how the hell he didn't make the McDonald All-American game.
He actually was just trending because Ball His Life put out a video of him dunking on some kid and then purposefully stepping over him, stepping on his arm.
Yeah.
And then Ty Lue was trending.
Boom, talking about it.
I did see that.
And, and the kid he dunked over actually took a charge. The dunk didn't count.
It's a foul.
Yeah.
Going the other way.
Travis Hunter's on there. Obviously, he's down in Colorado.
How do they know these numbers, though? Did they self-report this?
We don't know. None of this is real. This is just like whenever they say people's net worth is. You think people know?
They know.
Everybody knows?
Yeah.
Everybody knows what everybody's getting?
Yeah.
Because that's a conversation piece around recruiting now, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is woefully undervalued.
Probably.
Some of them, not all of them.
I think like the Livy Dunn lady, I think has 20 million Instagram followers. I think she gets a lot more money.
Well, that's
Yeah, but she might
That's
be.
not
She's
NIL.
made. That's like a business that she's making.
okay.
money
So
from,
endorsements are separate. Okay.
No, I don't know. I think that
As I
counts.
said,
NIL
it has
counts
to go into it.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I guess
part of NIL.
it's technically name, image, and likeness.
Yeah, it's
so.
a business that she's running. Yeah.
That's why I think it's wild.
It's like Bronny, too. That fucking guy.
Exactly.
Who knows what he's in? He's probably already invested in some things. He's probably
yeah.
got money invested in some stuff. Who knows what ownership percentages he's getting of things.
Seriously.
It's awesome. I'm happy for him. The game's going to change, though. Got 4 teams that we could have never expected being in the Final Four.
Bingo.
I assume the future is going to look like that. For basketball, football, I feel like the big names got to figure it out.
Well, it's
Everybody's going in the transfer portal to get to how they already got to figure it out. It's almost like you could pay somebody to go to your school. I assume that's happening. But if they do well, somebody's going to come knocking transfer portal. You're going to another school. It's going to pay you even more. It's almost like there's levels to this shit.
Well, like Bo Nix was on that list. He wasn't getting that money 2 years ago. I mean, then he went to Oregon and fucking played out of his mind, and then now,
he's back for his 6th year, I believe.
Just saw with Pitt.
Well, and also like you can give money to kids, but also like it's still about like the institute. Like there are very few places they're going to have nicer facilities than Georgia and Alabama. Like Eastern Michigan a couple years ago, and Caleb Williams.
$1 million.
Hey, we'll give you $1.5 million or whatever to come play here. It's like you go take a visit. It's like, well, you guys' facilities are shit. Like this place.
Isn't that where PJ Fleck was?
No, that's
he was-
Western
yeah,
Michigan.
Western.
Eastern Michigan actually almost lost their entire football program, so that's where they were.
They gave $1 million to a guy.
They got the
Charlie Batch.
I believe that was
Great
Chuck Batch.
Chuck
yeah.
Batch was going to do it. Yeah, he's the savior.
Charlie Batch.
Do you think players are staying in school longer now that they're getting paid?
So that was a tweet, I think,
Florio
that
tweeted it.
somebody, Mike Florio, put out that at some point it's going to get to a point where these players are going to say, nah, I'll just stay in school, take another couple million, hope another team ends up with the number 1 overall pick or a top 5 pick or something like that.
A lot of sense.
I think that's going to become an option. I think it's going to become an option, AJ. Legit, option.
But I feel like the tweet that Florio had, he listed like Arch Manning and them, but then he said like we're likely to see one of these guys get drafted number 1 and say, no, I'm good, I'm not going. Well, Eli did that. That's what Eli did back in the day.
Yeah,
Because
Manning, the head of the list was Manning, and then he was talking about Manning. It's already happened, but I think he's talking about business-wise. It's going to get to a point where it makes sense. If you're like a fringe.
Right, second rounder, like, you know, back then we weren't getting paid in college, so it didn't matter. They like, I'm putting my name in the hat so I can get paid. If I'm on the club for being a second or late third round, and I can go back to school and get me $1.5 million, which I might not pan out to be shit in the league.
Take it.
I'm going to take the 1.5.
Because you can build your draft stock. Now, the only issue would be if you get hurt, right? That's always going to be the thing, but at least you got $1 million coming on the side at least. Who knows what else you could potentially earn around the college and the university if you return back there. I think there's going to be a lot of things that happen to college football and college basketball. Some are going to be bad. Some things are going to be bad. I think there's going to be some good, too, for the sport. I think so.
Well, I mean, we just saw last year with Jordan Addison, too, to your point about guys leaving colleges and going to somewhere else because they're getting more money. He probably could have He could have gone to the draft, or is he a true junior this year? But
he's a dog.
Yeah, he got $3 million to go to USC for a season.
He was Blitnikoff, right, wasn't he? And then he transferred out of Pitt with Pickens.
Yeah, Kenny made him that. So.
Well, you're a pig.
Tony, he's still a
You
first
are
round
a
pick.
pig. You're a pig.
The first round.
Let's go to the 5-hour energy phone line.
Talk about Kenny.
Let's go to the 5-hour energy phone line. Let's go to Andrew in West Virginia. Andrew, what's going on, pal?
What's going on? How you doing, boys?
Keep it moving, Andrew. What part of West Virginia?
Martinsburg.
Okay, don't go up to Wheeling. Florio's dad's fucking running that place. What do you want to talk about, Andrew?
So why isn't anybody talking about my buddy's son, Tyson Bagent, in the NFL draft this year coming up? RG3 was just out at his pro day at Shepherd.
Okay, sweet.
Shepherd was the school that I showed you, the lineman putting up 40 reps on the bench.
Dog.
I think that kid is the quarterback that was at the combine.
Yep.
Tyler
I have no
Bagent?
Never heard of the guy.
Something like that.
Dog, dude. Hey, you're right. We need to talk about him more, Andrew.
Shepherd.
He is a dog.
He's an absolute dog, dude.
Yeah.
Shepherd. He's a shepherd.
Yeah.
I mean,
shepherd
he
guy.
is
He wasn't
an absolute.
He did get invited to the combine.
Hey, speaking of, congrats. That's not easy out of Shepherd. Hell yeah, dude.
You know what
Hell
they-
yeah, bro.
You know what they say about the dogs at Shepherd?
What's that?
They're hungry.
Hungry dog runs faster.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of hungry dogs, this guy's got a dog that hunts lions.
Yep.
2 of them as his pets.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fuck around and end up at the Pac-Man house.
Nope.
Don't go barking at that front door.
No.
Because what's barking back isn't used to taking down humans, taking down a king of the fucking jungle.
That's right.
This dude's got a 7-foot tall dog. 2 of them.
Yeah,
that are killers.
800 pounds.
Have you
What
noticed,
are they?
AJ?
What kind of dog? Yeah, you showed some video of it the other day. What kind of dogs are they?
Caucasian Shepherds.
Okay, so they're not wolves like they said.
No, they're actually lion hunters or wolf hunters is the name of the fucking breed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've heard of them. They're sweet.
Thank you, AJ.
Don't show up
They
at his
protect.
house.
Hey, don't they protect livestock a lot? Like
Yes,
people have
they
on
do.
farms?
I thought Kevin was one of these.
Look at this thing.
I mean, that thing's not that big.
Wait,
you know?
what is? There might be some forced perspective here.
No, this is not a Siciliana situation.
No.
So
The dog is closer.
So-
The dog is closer, and she is below the
That
dog.
dog is 40 feet tall.
It is.
That dog don't fuck around, is what I know, and he's got 2 of them.
Clifford.
He's got 2 of them. Clifford
So is this lady?
Chappelle.
Is this lady 2'3"? What are we doing?
She's actually 6'2".
I think that is a forced proposition.
That lady, WNBA superstar,
She
6'3".
was. That's right.
She rode that
It's
thing
Rebecca
in there.
Lobo.
Let's go to the phones.
For real. Saddle that thing up. That's amazing.
Don't, not if you don't know it. That thing will kill you.
Yeah.
Let's go to the phones.
Looks friendly now.
Let's go to Wes in Idaho in the 5 Energy phone line. What's going on, Wes?
How we doing?
Keep
moving.
Hey, I just got one question for Pac-Man.
Okay.
I used to live in Tennessee in Franklin, and everybody told me look out for a blue Lambo cruising right by Cool Springs Mall. That's Pac-Man Jones. Never saw it, but is that true?
The Lambo was not blue.
Oh, okay. All right.
Fair.
It was orange.
Oh, more recognizable.
Head turn.
Hell yeah.
I would say, did you enjoy the Lambo purchase?
Enjoyed it. But yeah, it was orange. Wrong car, buddy.
It rides real low, doesn't it? Rides real low.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Can't
saying
do that in
Nashville
Indiana.
Nashville it's not like that in Nashville. They don't get no snow. So the roads are pretty good. So it was a fun little car.
Do you still have the Lambo?
No.
Smart.
What'd you get that thing up to?
I probably had it up to, well, I shouldn't say.
85.
No, on a racetrack. On a racetrack.
right.
On a racetrack.
Oh, yeah. Like 165, 170.
Okay, at a racetrack. That's very nice. You did that responsibly with a helmet on.
Yeah.
Had a helmet on and
Driving gloves.
race strap,
Yep,
like a
that's right.
roller coaster.
Home Depot, Tony Stewart, get up.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Smoke.
Magic car.
Smoke.
Yeah, thank you for doing it. Backflip
Yes.
off the thing afterwards, like
Yep.
you won the
I like
race.
Carl
Jump over
Edwards.
victory lane, 165. That's awesome.
Yep. Chugging
I'm happy
milk.
you did that. Hell yeah, dude.
Go.
Hell yeah. You got to experience that. One more phone call here. Let's go to, not 2 more phone calls. Let's go to Allie in South Carolina. Allie, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
Keep moving, Allie.
All right. So my question is for Tone. As a fellow Steelers fan, given that we have Kenny Pickett, George Pickett,
What?
Cam Hayward was looking really good, Najee Harris was looking really good, and we kind of look like we're turning it around offensively.
Hell yeah.
But how optimistic can you possibly be, considering that Canada is still our offensive coordinator?
Oh! Allie, get that up in the bow.
It does throw a wrench into all the plans, but I see a lot of times this year where Kenny's intercom goes out, okay?
Smart.
Where the mic in his helmet goes out, and Kenny's calling his own plays, and Kenny's a dog, and GP's a dog, and Fryermuth's a dog.
And Najee, dog. Cam Hayward's got a massive head, but still a dog. He's actually one of those dogs that Pac-Man has too.
Brand new O-line.
Her big
boys are
dog.
gonna be fine.
All right, last call here. Let's go to Kyle in Ohio. Kyle in Ohio with 5 Energy phone line. Go to 5energy.com. Use promo code McAfee to receive 20% off?
20.
What? 20% off all your 5-hour energy purchases. You can get one of those things you see at the gas station, the full fucking thing.
Yeah, mini pallet.
Just pop it open, you get out of there. 20% off. Promo code McAfee at 5energy.com. Last call of the day, Kyle. What do you want to talk about?
Hey, I know you are a big time traveler and UFO guy, and you like The Simpsons and everything. You realize you already had a time traveler on your show once?
Oh.
The guy about 4 years ago, the investor guy that said to invest in Zoom. Did he know that COVID was coming and the whole world was going to use Zoom and the stocks would just shoot up high?
Good call there in Ohio. That was Francesa.
That was Mike Francesa.
Francesa said, I like...
It was.
What?
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
I said, because somebody asked him about his investment because he likes doing money.
Yeah.
And then he said, I got two hot stocks for you or something like that.
Very robust portfolio. Zoom.
And Slack as well, I think.
Yeah,
I think it was Zoom and Slack is what he said. And then there was a couple others that didn't hit, but Zoom certainly took off through the pandemic when everybody was Zooming, even though the tech
stinks.
Still shaky.
It's kind of like a Walmart of, it's kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like a Walmart of group hangout.
Good idea. Yeah.
Tech-wise. Still was a great idea. Took over. And then Slack obviously did well for businesses. So yeah, maybe Francesa's just fucking rolling in it right now because he is a time traveler.
Eddie in Hoboken. What's up, Eddie?
Hey, what's up, Mike?
What's happening?
Hey, Mike, Stan Lee died today. Did you ever meet the guy? What do you think of him?
Stan Lee.
Yeah, Stan Lee.
I don't
Never
know
heard
who
of
he
Stan
is.
Lee?
Don't know who he is, no.
Jesus.
Who is he? Who is he? Who is Stan Lee? He was one of the creators of Marvel Comics. Oh, who cares?
Nothing better.
Rest in peace to Stan Lee.
Obviously.
We do not feel the same way as the sports pope.
Nope.
No.
But he was the one that said invest in Zoom.
right.
Great call, great show, great guest. We can't thank everybody enough for joining us. Lombo, Piven, Florio, AJ, Pac-Man motherfucking Jones.
Yeah.
Talk Stable Hammer. Dahn is in about 10 minutes at youtube.com/hammer. Dahn. And also tonight, that's Hockey Talk, I believe, right?
Boom.
It's
Yes,
Wednesday.
thank you. Jeremy Roenick's going to be joining us.
Oh, yeah! YouTube.com/That's Hockey Talk. We can't thank you all enough. Massive day tomorrow. Calvin Johnson was supposed to be on tomorrow. Emergency travel situation. He'll be joining us next week.
Okay.
So we are wide open, but we will be booking super duper surprise guests.
Huge ones.
Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. You all are the greatest people on earth. We're heading to Chef Bo's. Goodbye.